Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. It's a Canadian game. Brought to you by Molson Canadian.
It's April 10th, 1962, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are set to face the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final at Maple Leaf Gardens. And this is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. The Blackhawks have Bobby Hull, Ab McDonald, and Stan Mikita. The Leafs counter with Dave Keon, Alan Stanley, and Frank Mahovlich. Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Bowen, and welcome to another evening of Maple Leaf Classics here on Leafs TV. And tonight we take you back to an opening game of the best-of-7 Stanley Cup Final with the Chicago Blackhawks, April the 10th, 1962. The Leafs enjoyed a strong season in 61-62, finishing second behind the Montreal Canadiens, and then eliminating the New York Rangers in 6 games in the Stanley Cup semifinals. We've got highlights of that 6th game for you now.
Harvey getting set, the shot, hits right in front of the net, they roll at it over the top of the goal. Keon comes up with it, passed it out in front of the net, it deflects to the boards, Keon back to Armstrong, Armstrong and Duff, going in together, right in front, that's it, he scores! Duff from Armstrong, and it's 6-1.
The third-place Blackhawks, the defending Stanley Cup champions, upset the Montreal Canadiens, winning in 6 games themselves, setting the stage for the Leafs to hold home ice advantage in this Stanley Cup final. The third trip to the final for the Leafs in the last 4 years. The terrors of the Tangled Twine tonight are Chicago's Mr. Goalie, Glenn Hall, and the Maple Leafs' China Wall, Johnny Bower. It's April 10th, 1962, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, Leafs and Hawks. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. The Blackhawks have 9 players who scored in double figures, including 50-goal shooter Bobby Hull, Stan Mikita notching 25, and Ab McDonald adding 22 on the scooter line. The Leafs had 11 players in double figures, including Frank Mahovlich, who had 33, Dave Keon with 26, and Red Kelly with 22. After 11 years in the minors, spent mostly with the Cleveland Barons, Johnny Bower arrived in Toronto in 1958. The Prince Albert, Saskatchewan native would be the backbone of the Leaf franchise for the next dozen years and 4 Stanley Cup parades. In 1961, he would win the Vezina Trophy, and in 1965, he would share the top goaltending award again, this time with Terry Sawchuk. He is, in my opinion, the greatest goaltender in Maple Leaf hockey history, and he joins us here tonight, Johnny Bower. And good to see you again, as always.
Thank you.
This is a big moment, eh? April 10th, 1962, you're in the Stanley Cup Final and an opportunity to win your very first cup. It's against the Chicago Blackhawks, though, and Punch Emlak, before Game 1, comes in and sort of lays the ground rules of how he thinks this game and series can be won.
Well, he did give us a good pep talk, and I can recall that he had a theory that if we would get so many hits in that game, we would win, and it had to be over 50 hits, and he wanted everybody to at least get 4 hits each, and I'll tell you, that first period was really something to see, and he was right, and we got it over, and we ended up winning the
Stanley Cup. Yeah. Now, John, when you look at the Blackhawks and you take a look down, it's like looking at the New York Yankees and Murderers Row with Babe Ruth in the lineup. You've got Bobby Hull, who scores 50 goals this season and is in a position maybe to be the hardest shooter in hockey history. Am I wrong in saying that, maybe?
It's either him or his brother. Yeah.
But that Dennis couldn't hit the net.
No, that's why I like playing against him.
That's right. Now, what was it like playing goal with Hull on the ice and knowing he was going to shoot?
Well, it was certainly scary, but I wasn't really scared of Bobby and crouching or anything on the shots, because I knew that he was either going to put it in the net or hit the goalpost or hit me or something like that. But yes, he did have one of the hardest shots in the National Hockey League, there's no doubt about that. And he scored a lot of goals, and he was a great hockey player.
Now, later in this series, you end up getting injured, and we've got some footage of that as John Bower has to leave the series, and Don Simmons ends up having to take over. Let's go to that footage now. Johnny, do you remember that shot, the one that tore your groin?
Yes, I sure did. Really quick at me. The only hope I had was to do the splits, and I did, and I could feel something pull there in my leg, and I got up real slow, and of course Punch was watching me the way I was moving there for a while, so he sent George Armstrong out, and Punch wanted to see me, and I said, I know what Punch's theory was. He wanted to take me out, and I said, you tell Punch I'm not going out, I'm okay. So he goes back again and tells him, and then finally George comes back again, and Punch said to him, he says, told me to tell him, he said, if you don't come out, he's going to fine me $25. So I came out.
$25 is a lot of money back then,
right,
John.
that's
It's a lot
right.
of money now.
That's right.
Now, Don Simmons was really an unheralded kind of a goaltender, but he had played in the league. He played with Boston, and he played very well after this was in Game 4 when you were injured, and winning the Stanley Cup in Game 6, and you had to kind of sit on the sidelines and watch, although you were so integral in getting them there.
Yeah, Donnie was a great guy and a good team man, and he had some experience, and he was very cool in the net, and he played his heart out like all the other guys did for him, and for me too as well. So, but Simmons, you know, he's a very quiet guy, and usually when a goaltender gets hurt, you don't like to see him go right in cold and anything, and that's what I was thinking about. That's why I didn't want to come out, but he played really well.
Now, at the other end of the rink is another one of the greats of all time in Glenn Hall. Different style, and when you watched him, I guess you had to think, my goodness, what's he doing down there in that butterfly all the time?
Yeah, he's an acrobatic goaltender. He was probably one of the first guys to start that butterfly style and that, but Glenn was very quick, and he had good hands and good feet, and you name it, he was a top-notch goalkeeper, and he played really well for him.
Quiet guy, and apparently not real good before each game.
No, he does. We had a little bit of problems before a game. I guess he had to throw up a little bit, and I was hoping he wouldn't because he wouldn't play that good, but he always did that.
Now, did you have any problems before a game? You had, I mean, everybody has the butterflies and the nerves. Did you do anything different? Were you superstitious about who shot at you, what you had to do, or catch the puck the last warm-up, anything like that?
Yeah, I was, as long as I had a good warm-up, I was okay, and if I didn't, I was a little shaky. And that first shot, I don't care whether it's 80 feet or whatever, if I could stop that, I was okay, but if it ever went in, the first shot, I'd really get nervous at that time, because I just felt that, you know, I wasn't in the game again. But no, sure I was scared of Bobby Hull and Nikita and McDonald and all the rest of the players, that they had a good hockey club there.
All right, Johnny Bauer is our guest. We're taking him back to April 10th, 1962, as the Leafs face off with the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final, because this is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
This is the first game here at Maple Leaf Gardens, and the Chicago Blackhawks in white. Toronto Maple Leafs in their dark sweaters, and it's Hay with Bobby Hull and Murray Balfour on the wings, with Pulford, Litzenberger, and Nevin for the Maple Leafs. Quarter defense for the Chicago Blackhawks, Elmer Vasquez number 4, and Pierre Palat number 3, with the Leafs using Brewer and Vaughn. Puck is back in the Chicago zone, and Pierre Palat, a drop pass to Bobby Hull. Hull, a pass ahead on the right wing for Hay, intercepted by Litzenberger. He's checked. Bobby Hull takes a long shot, and Bauer stopped that off his pad and left it for Vaughn. Brewer passed it behind the net. Bobby Hull has it, tried to pass it out in front. It deflects back to the blue line. Pierre Palat is checked by Litzenberger. He couldn't get it out. And Brewer in his own zone. Number 2 over to Vaughn, number 21. Into Pulford. Up the center, shoots the puck into the Chicago zone at the north end of my left. In behind the net, Elmer Vasco to Balfour. He's checked by Litzenberger. Hull gets it. Pulford tried to check him. Hull still has it for the Blackhawks. He flicked it back to the opposite side. It's cleared by Palat to Balfour. He gets it out to center ice off Hayes' stick to Hull. Hull is hit by Brewer. And Nevin turns around and comes back and shoots it into the Chicago zone. And they're opening up right from the beginning as Pulford ran into Glenn Hall, the goalkeeper. The referee is Eddie Powers. The linesman are Ron Wicks and George Hayes. A long shot. Bauer stopped that. The rebound to Brewer off the boards for Litzenberger. Stopped by Hay. Hay flicks into the corner. It slides in behind the Leaf goal, and Vaughn takes it for the Leafs. Vaughn, a flick pass for Nevin. It's stopped by Vasco. It moved up. Bobby Hull back to Vasco. Vasco shoots into the corner around behind the net, and Litzenberger goes in after it. Hay rammed into him to Balfour. Balfour's shot was stopped by Bauer. Brewer. Pass off the board. Stopped by Pierre Palat. Caltron right to Hay. Hay getting set. Takes a shot, and he waited too long, and the puck ends up behind the goal into the corner. Vaughn is knocked over, and it hops out over Vasco's stick. Pulford goes after it, and Palat got back quick enough to cover up. Palat starts out on the right wing. Gets it out to Balfour at center ice. Up to the Leaf blue line. A drop pass for Pierre Palat. He flicks it the rest of the way to Hay in the corner. Trying to pass it out in front. Hay, number 11, is draped into the boards by Stanley, but Basco gets his shot. Horton stopped it. Horton now comes up for the Leafs to his own blue line to center. Up over the Chicago line. Takes his shot. That's foul. Stanley gets the rebound. His shot right in front. And the Blackhawks break it up. A long pass for Kenny Wara, number 17. It goes over the red line. Stanley will touch it. It'll be called for icing. And the face-off back in the Chicago zone. And the two teams starting right off, wide open. Face-off in the Chicago zone. To the right of Hall, at the north end of my left. Chicago Blackhawks are wearing the white sweaters. There's the Chicago players' bench on the east side, Maple Leaf Gardens, with Coach Rudy Phillips behind the bench. Stewart with Mahavlich and Kelly. Stanley and Horton on the defense. It's Horvath, number 9, on the forward line with Fleming, number 6, and Nestorenko, number 15. Long pass to Nestorenko at his own blue line. He gets away from Kelly, shoots the puck in. Bauer stops it and clears it to Mahavlich. Mahavlich in the corner. He flicked it all the way down the ice. It's going over the red line. Dollar St. Laurent back to touch at number 19. He does, and the play is called for icing the puck, and we've played just exactly 3 minutes of the first period. No score. No score in this first game of the Stanley Cup Finals here at Maple Leaf Gardens before a capacity crowd. Face off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left. Horvath with Fleming and Nestorenko. Nestorenko at the rim of the circle in shooting position. Evans has moved up to the edge of the circle, and one defenseman back. That is Dollar St. Laurent at the blue line. So the Blackhawks are playing every man up. It's back to Evans. He shot it across to the far wing. Fleming kept it in with a poke check. Stewart of the Leafs tried to get away from Horvath. Cleared it right to St. Laurent. Took a shot. Horvath into the corner. Chased by Horton. Fleming trying to center it. Then Nestorenko touches it. There's going to be a penalty here to the Maple Leafs. To Horton. Horton for holding Fleming. And that's the first penalty of the series and the first penalty of the game coming in this first period. And gives the Chicago Blackhawks the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5. Horton, number 7, in the penalty box for the Maple Leafs. The penalty box is directly below me on the west side, Maple Leaf Gardens.
Number 7, Horton. 2 minutes for holding.
The holding penalty.
Time 3:20.
3:20 is the time of the holding penalty to Horton. And it's Hay, Hull, McDonald, Makita, and Palat. On the face-off, McDonald back to Makita. Makita waits, shoots into the corner behind McDonald to Hull behind the net. Hull gets it back to the blue line to Palat. Palat fakes a shot over here to Makita. Here's the pass to Hull. Hull shoots, he scores! Bobby Hull fired a quick one, and it's 1-0 on the Chicago Blackhawks. With Horton in the penalty box. Beautiful play by the Blackhawks. And it's 1-0 on Bobby Hull's quick shot into the right side of the net past Bauer. As you saw, Pierre Palat passed it right over to Makita. Makita fired it to Hull, and he fired it home. 1-0 Chicago in this first period. On the face-off, the puck goes back into the Chicago zone, and it's Palat hit by Duck. He fell out of the puck, and there's going to be a penalty to Duck. Duck passed into Palat, and there'll be a penalty there.
Scored by number 7, Hull. Assists, number 3, Palat, and number 21, Makita. Time 3:35.
3:35 was the official time of Bobby Hull's goal from Palat and Makita. And Duff will get a penalty. Palat is getting up slowly from that jarring smash into the boards. Duff is in the penalty box.
Late penalty. Number 9, Duff. 2 minutes for boarding.
A boarding penalty.
3:44.
3:44 is the time of the boarding penalty to Duff. Pierre Palat, the Chicago captain. Now he's skating slowly over to the bench. He's been the towering strength and the guiding force of the Chicago Blackhawk rear guards, and has contributed to the success of the Chicago Blackhawks. And they lead 1-0 in this first period. After 3 minutes and 44 seconds. On the face-off, it's back to Stanley, who let it go to Horton. Horton flicks the puck back into the Chicago zone, and Stan Mikita picks it up, number 21. He's hit by Fulford. Comes up with the puck, lost it off at McDonald. Evans steals the puck for the Leafs. Tried to pass it out in front, and Hall fell. McDonald comes back, a pass ahead to center ice to Billy Hay, who cleared it over to Bobby Hall. He's going in. He took a shot, but it was deflected off to the side. And Horton comes up with the puck for the Leafs. Up the center ice. Takes a long shot. That's wide. Off the boards to Hay, number 11. Hay behind the Chicago net. A pass to Mikita. Mikita watched by Nevin and jammed in on the board. Vasco, a pass to Mikita again. Mikita, a pass to Hull. Up the center ice. Up over the Leaf line. A shot. Hit Horton. Mikita moves up. Fulford jammed him into the boards. And Stanley flicks it off the boards, but not out. Hay keeping it in. Horton then lifts it high and down the ice, and there's 58 seconds left in Duff's penalty. Approaching the 5-minute mark of the first period in about 8 seconds. Howe is bumped. And Vasco, a pass over to McDonald, too far for him. And Stanley hits Nevin with a shot, but it goes into the Chicago zone, and the Blackhawks, wearing white with Bobby Hull leading the attack, start on the move. They have the odd man advantage. Hull up over his own blue line, over on that left wing, up over center, in over the Leaf line, trying to get around Horton. Pair of sevens jammed together. Puck ends up behind the goal. Horton chops it to the blue line. Keon ran into Vasco. Vasco couldn't control it, and Armstrong goes out with Stanley. They're up over the Chicago line. Stanley, a pass for Duff. Keon right through his skate. There's another shot by Keon. Duff is getting set to return in 5 seconds. Another shot goes into the corner. Makita back to Hay. Now then Duff is back on the ice. The teams are full strength. Up for Hay. A long shot. A bouncer. And that was stopped by Bauer. To Horton. 1-0 Chicago. A long pass for Keon with Duff. Duff couldn't take the pass. He ran into Evans. Goes over to the far wing, and Fleming moves up very quickly for Chicago. A pass in front, and it goes to the open wing. Keon off the boards for Duff. Evans is knocked down. Cleared by Keon into the Chicago zone, and Eric Nestorenko turns. Nestorenko, a pass to Evans. Gets away from him. Keon keeps the puck in, but he's hit into the board. Evans then watched by Stewart. Keon moves up with him. Evans covers against the boards, and there's no further play. And we've played 6 minutes and 29 seconds of the first period. 1-0 Chicago. Bobby Hull from Pierre Palat and Stan Mikita at 3:35 of the first period. 1-0 for the Blackhawks. Face-off is in the Chicago zone to the right. And the Leafs now have Kelly with Stewart and Mahavlich. Brewer and Braun on the defense. Horvath with Fleming and Nestorenko. St. Laurent and Evans on the defense. A pass for Fleming, and Fleming moves out on the left wing to center ice. Gets over the checkered line, shoots it in, and Bauer stops the rebound to Brewer. Brewer behind the Maple Leaf goal at the south end. Maple Leafs wearing the dark sweaters. Braun, a flip pass out on the left wing. Mahavlich couldn't reach it, and Evans passes it to St. Laurent. St. Laurent was checked by Stewart. The puck goes bouncing back into the Chicago zone. And behind the net for Jack Evans. Evans in possession for the Blackhawks. Nearly went out in front of his own goal. Still has it. Leaves it for Nestorenko. Came back for it. A pass to Fleming. Fleming chopped it to the blue line. Knocked back by Bond. And Horvath turns for the Blackhawks. Horvath, a pass for Fleming. Stopped by Brewer. Then Nestorenko missed a check. Brewer stopped it, and Bond tried to help him out. The Blackhawks break it up. Up over the line for Fleming. Fleming is hit by Bond, but the shot was on, and Bauer had to catch it. Now then, Mahavlich is checked by Nesterenko. Bond is checked by Horvath. Horvath and Nesterenko getting set. The shot was stopped by Brewer. Back to Evans. Evans takes his shot. That's wide. And Bond goes back for it. Cleared it off the boards to Stewart. It goes out over the line, and Nesterenko is back for it. He shoots it right back into the Maple Leaf zone. Chicago Blackhawks forechecking the Maple Leafs in their own territory, and they can't get out. It's Brewer over to Bond. Bond ahead to Kelly. It deflects off the skate. Mahavlich couldn't reach a pass. And Horvath gets it back, shoots it into the Leaf zone, and Bond is back there. Bond, number 21, off the boards. Evans moving up, stopped it. He shoots it in. Then Bond brings it out again and clears it to Kelly. It hit a skate. Kelly to Brewer. Brewer a flip pass to Kelly. Kelly over to Stewart. Going into Mahavlich. Right past to Mahavlich. Well, the break in as Nesterenko checked him at the last moment. Play is called, and there's a penalty handed out to Chicago. Evans for holding. And that's the third penalty of this first period. Evans of Chicago, a holding penalty. Came after the play was stopped. Face-off is in the Chicago zone to the left.
Number 5, Evans. 2 minutes for holding. Time 8:24.
8:24 is the time of the holding penalty to Evans. 1-0 for the Chicago Blackhawks. Scored at 3:35. Horton gets set with his shot. That's high over the target. Kelly from the other side lets one go. Right on. And it comes back to the blue line. Horton over to Armstrong. Armstrong, a pass for Keon. Keon couldn't get it out in front. It comes back to the blue line, and Fleming clears it. Armstrong couldn't control it. Keon shoots it back to Kelly, and Kelly of the Leafs turns in his own zone. Kelly, a long pass to Duff. Duff missed the check from Palat, clears it over the line. Then Keon tried to center it. Duff takes his man out of the play. Keon, a pass back to Horton. Horton lets his shot go. That hit Fleming. Then Kelly lets it go. Ends up behind the net. It's cleared around on the boards. Fleming moves up. Horton jammed him against the boards. It's poked ahead with a glove. And it was called for a face-off as a Chicago player, Vasco, pushed the puck ahead with his glove. Duff and Palat having a talking to now after that previous clash into the boards. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. 9 minutes and 22 seconds of the first period. 1-0 Chicago. It's back to Horton. Leafs have the odd man. Horton trying to get around Turner, and the puck was carried down the ice. Bauer stops it. Duff is back there for it. Now then Duff, and he missed a hefty check from Nesterenko. Up the ice for Horton. Horton passed it over the line. Duff passed it out in front of the net. Armstrong to Horton. Horton takes his shot high and wide. Armstrong then ran into Nesterenko, and they all jam in there, and they're really starting to belt one another right off the bat. Face-off will be in the Chicago zone to the right of Hall. About 29 seconds left in Evans' penalty for Chicago. Blackhawks are leading 1-0. Approaching the 10-minute mark in the first period in 4 seconds. All set for the face-off. The puck goes to Pulford. Pulford takes his shot, and Hall made the save on that. A pass for Nevin is rolled back to Bond. Bond's backhand was stopped by Palat. Palat shoots it off the boards down to center. And Bond moves up and takes a long shot that Hall caught. Palat nearly stick handled that puck into his own net, but Turner helps him out by clearing it down the ice. Evans is getting set to return to the ice in about 1 second. There he goes out of the penalty box. And the Blackhawks are back at full strength. There's Nevin a pass to Pulford. Pulford takes his shot. Hall stopped that. Litzenberger left it for Pulford. To Litzenberger. Tried to clear it back. It hit the glass. Bond takes his shot. It goes into the corner. Litzenberger took the puck away, and Pulford helps him out by passing it in front of the net. Litzenberger missed it. Palat is checked by Pulford. St. Laurent off the boards to Hull. Hull a pass ahead to Fleming. Fleming takes a long shot, and it goes around behind the Leaf goal into the corner. Now then, Brewer trying to get away from Hay at his own blue line. Up the center. Dragged it with a skate. Evans ran into him. And Brewer and Balfour clash, and Balfour gets it back to Evans. Evans over on the left side to St. Laurent, number 19. Ahead to Hay. Hay up at center, gets over the red line, shoots the puck into the Leaf zone. Balfour chopped it across the goal mouth, and it's Nevin not able to get it out. Hull took a shot, hit the side of the net. It's St. Laurent moving up, taking his shot. It's Hay trying to center it. He does the Hull a shot, and Power stops that. And Balfour came in and nearly got the rebound. Nevin is hit by Hull. It's back to Hay, and the Blackhawks putting on terrific pressure. The puck goes near the Leaf goal. Bauer grabs it. And then Balfour and Vaughn get into a mix-up. And then Hull gets into a two. And Evans mixing it up with Brewer. And they're really at one another now. Balfour and Pulford. Vaughn still trying to get it. Hull, and Hayes trying to get into a two. And they mean business. Now then, they seem to have cooled out a bit, except for Pulford and Balfour. Hay is still mixing it up with Bond just for a moment there. So there'll be plenty of penalties there. We'll see how many they send off. Some are trying to act as peacemakers. They'll wound up fighting as well. So if this is any indication, then it's knock him down and drag him out affair. Referee Eddie Powers trying to get the players parted. Now then, Bond is talking to Hull. Number 21. Hay and Brewer, along with Balfour, having a chat. Bauer is standing there. Glenn Hall is all alone at the other end.
Bobby Hull opens the scoring in the series with his 5th goal of the postseason from Palat and Makita. And John Bauer, you said that Punch had said we need 50 hits. Bob Bond was trying to get all of his 50 in right in the one area in behind the net, but he was throwing punches instead of body checks.
How true that is there. He was really swinging there, and of course he was after Bobby Hull more than anybody, and of course they were protecting Bobby Hull too as well, but no, Bobby held his own pretty good there, and even when it was just about over with, he threw in a couple of extra punches there. But
and minor penalties only.
Minor penalties.
That's one thing about the game now, where people end up getting huge penalty minutes and break records. Back then, maybe you got 5, maybe you got 2, but I mean, you might have thrown 4 or 5. It really has changed a little bit in that regard. But this is obviously going to be a physical series.
Definitely, because it was physical, particularly in that first period. I mean, I just offhand, I can't remember how many penalties there were, but there was a lot of penalties in that first period, but we had a good team there. We had guys that can kill penalties, and everybody like Bobby Nevin and Pulford, who was just fantastic in that series, and Timmy Horton, just to mention a couple of guys. They really played well, and we weren't afraid to get penalties because, you know, Punch knew, he says, that something was going to happen when you start throwing 52 hits.
Now, you're in your 3rd Stanley Cup final in 4 years at this point, haven't won the trophy yet. But your career, I mean, you're in your 30s, mid-30s by the time this game is being played. I mean, Did you ever dream that this might happen because you were languishing in the American Hockey League in Cleveland for much of the time? You had a cup of coffee up with the Rangers back up and down when Gump Worsley was there. But at this point, did you have to pinch yourself and say, boy, I've really hit it here?
Well, I was really so happy and thrilled when the Toronto Maple Leafs really drafted me in 59-60, and it was just, I didn't ever dream that, I had a dream of having my name engraved on the Stanley Cup, and I really didn't want to go, Joe, you know, first because I spent so much time in the minors, and then I thought, hey, my childhood dream was to have my name engraved in the Stanley Cup. And Punch said, when I had a talk with Punch, and he told me, he said, look, I'm going to get a good solid defense in front of him, and he was right, but no, I was very, very fortunate, and I was very, very, you know, I was so happy to be with the Leafs, like I mentioned, and it was just great.
What was life in the minors like back then?
A lot of riding the buses, though. bus, and train. I don't think we knew what airplanes were at that time, but no, we had buses and that, and we drove on the trains, and it was tough, though. It was tough playing because a lot of times you get there just game time, and you're on the bus or on the train there for maybe about a 6-hour ride. It's pretty tough on the guys.
All right, so John Bauer is trailing 1-0 along with his Maple Leafs as Bobby Hull has scored midway through the first period. Let's go back upstairs now to Bill.
Now Evans has gone in the penalty box, number 5, with number 7, Bobby Hull. Also coming over is Bond, number 21 of the Maple Leafs. And Brewer will be the other, because he was paired off with Evans. So Hay apparently, along with Fulford and Balfour and Litzenberger, were trying to act as peacemakers. The instigators are in the penalty box.
Number 7, Hull, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 5, Evans, 2 minutes for roughing. Leafs penalties, number 21, Bond, 2 minutes for roughing. Number 2, Brewer, 2 minutes for roughing. Time, 11:49.
Well, apparently they didn't get main event attention because they only get minors for the set to behind that Leaf goal. So they're minor penalties, 4 of them in all. Hull and Evans of Chicago, Bond and Brewer of the Leafs at 11:49. All for roughing. The teams are playing 4 aside, and Nestorenko and Horton are fencing with one another, and they're going. There's going to be a penalty to Nestorenko. And of course, he's on a delayed penalty. Nestorenko apparently was holding Horton's stick, and they may know they're going to give Horton a penalty as well because he was holding on too. So Horton and Nestorenko are in the penalty box together, along with the 4 other players who went in there a few seconds before. So they're really crowded at that penalty box. There's 6 of them in there. That gives you an idea of how many are in the penalty box.
Number 15, Nestorenko, 2 minutes for holding. Leafs penalty, number 7, Horton, 2 minutes for holding. Time, 11:55.
11:55 is the time of the holding penalties to Horton and Nestorenko. Well, the teams are still playing 4 aside. And it's Kelly with Mahavlich and Stanley. Turner, Palat, and Vasco. And Stan Mikita's coming out, number 21 now, likely to replace Turner. No, they're going to take Palat off. And Turner goes back on the defense with Vasco. There's the Chicago players bench with Rudy Pillis behind the players. Eddie Powers has gone over to the penalty box to explain the delayed penalty. Well, now we're all set to start the game again. Face-off is to the right of Bauer. South end of our right, and from the face-off, Stanley shoots the puck out and down the ice. It's sliding towards the red line. Makita goes back to get it, and it's called for icing. And then over the red line, and that's icing. And the face-off comes back into the Maple Leaf zone, and we've played now 12 minutes and 4 seconds of the first period, 1-0 Chicago. Hull from Pilata Makita, 3:35 of this first period. The referee is Eddie Powers, the linesmen are Ron Wicks and George Hayes. Now set for the face-off. It comes back to Turner. Turner over to Vasco. Vasco waits. Shoots into the corner, and it goes behind the Maple Leaf goal, and Stanley's there. Stanley, a pass ahead to Kelly. Up at center. Over the Chicago line. A pass from Mahavlich. Went into the corner. Mahavlich gets away from Makita, but couldn't make a play as Turner got in very quickly to cover him. A pass for Makita. Makita turns back. Now then Makita will start the rush for Chicago. Number 21 to center. Up to the Maple Leaf line. Stopped by Stanley. Stanley goes to center ice with Mahavlich. Stanley gets over the line. Pass it over for Kelly, who has moved up. Kelly, a pass from Mahavlich, and it went by him. And Makita turns for the Chicago Blackhawks. Mahavlich bumped into him, and Vasco carries on to center. Here comes the shot. Bauer juggled it and left it there for Kelly. Kelly starts back for the Leafs. Up to center ice. Up over the Chicago line, trying to get around Turner. Passed it out in front. Comes back to the blue line. Stanley back to Kelly. Kelly trying to control it, and he couldn't, and it went out over the blue line, and he takes it out there himself and passes over to Stanley, number 26. Stanley moving up with Keon. Keon takes the pass. Takes a shot. He's checked by Vasco, and the puck goes back to center. Keon watches Fleming, and they fall together, and Arbour moves up now for the Leafs. Arbour stops. Still has it. Gets it to Stanley. Stanley coming out in front of the net. He takes his shot. As Hall made the save on Stanley. Vasco, a pass ahead to Turner as Bond and Evans come out on the ice. Chicago's still got 2 men in the penalty box. Play will be called here. It's called for a face-off down in the Chicago zone. And they called it, and Evans was allowed to go over to the bench. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. The face-off is in the Chicago zone to the right. Now the Blackhawks have 2 of their men back. One in the penalty box, Nestorenko, along with Horton. Puck comes back to the blue line. There's a shot by Brewer. It deflects wide of the Chicago goal. It comes back. Bond takes a shot. That goes into the corner. Teams are playing 5 aside with Horton and Nestorenko both in the penalty box. Makita tried to break away. Bond missed him with a body check, and Brewer kicks the puck down the ice. It's going over the red line. Chicago goes back to touch it, and will be called for icing with 5 minutes and 34 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. And the reason that Nestorenko and Horton are still in the penalty box is because of the delayed penalties, resulting from the fact that the Leafs and the Blackhawks picked up 2. Hull and Evans, Bond and Brewer. And they have about 1 minute and 24 seconds left in their penalties. It's up for Armstrong. A pass to Keon. Keon gets over the checkered line at center. Shoots the puck over the line into the Chicago zone. It goes behind the Chicago net. Armstrong was stopped by Hull. And Hull starts out for Chicago. Up to his own blue line. Up to center. Takes a long shot. Bauer caught that and left it for Brewer. Brewer ahead to Keon. Keon at his own blue line. Up with Armstrong at center. Over the line. Evans got a piece of Keon, and Makita covers up for Chicago. He drops a pass for Bobby Hull. Bobby Hull being watched by George Armstrong. Gets away from him. Goes up to center ice. Up to the Maple Leaf line. Bond trying to chase him out of the play. Hull passes it right in front of the net, and Brewer intercepts. Brewer, a pass to Keon. Up to center ice. over the Chicago line. He stops, takes his shot right on. And that was stopped by Brent Hall. It comes back to Bond. Bond over to Brewer, off the boards. Brewer shoots it to Armstrong right in front, and it comes all the way back to Makita at the blue line, and Makita goes down the ice with Hull. Up over the blue line for Makita and Hull. A pass to Bobby Hull. Bond covers him. Brewer then steps in front of him, and Armstrong comes up with the puck. Horton and Nesterenko are back on the ice. 4 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. Over on the far wing, St. Laurent ran into Pulford, but Hay comes back for Chicago over the blue line. Going in with Nesterenko. He's still stick handling with the puck. Gets set. There's the shot. It hit Brewer. And he passed it out to Litzenberger. Litzenberger down over the Chicago line with Nevin. He takes his shot. And Hall made the save on Litzenberger. The rebound out to Nesterenko to Balfour. Balfour over here to Hay. Up over the Leaf line. Billy Hay takes his shot. Bauer stops that, holds it, and then moves it over to the side, but not until the referee had blown the whistle. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Chicago won. Toronto Maple Leafs no score, with 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the first period. Referee Eddie Powers, the linesmen are Ron Wicks and George Hayes. Makita, number 21, McDonald, 14. Kenny Warren, number 17, are the three forwards for the Chicago Blackhawks against Pulford, Litzenberger, and Nevin. The puck was shot down the ice. Glenn Hall will have to stop it, and Vasco goes back for it. Vasco behind the net. Pass out to Makita, stopped by Tim Horton to let it go to Stanley. Horton then took his pass, lost it to Makita getting set, a pass to McDonald, and it was just too far for him. It's still Warren in possession, trying to pass it out in front. Stanley chops it to the blue line, hit Litzenberger. Makita keeps in the Warren, back to McDonald. McDonald tried to pass it out in front of the net, and it's clear to Nevin. Nevin with Litzenberger and Hooker. They're going down the ice over the line together. Nevin, a pass for Litzenberger, goes behind the goal. He's jammed by Palat. Nevin flicked it, and Makita comes up with it for Chicago. Makita. A pass to Palat. Palat up at center alone, up over the blue line. He's waiting for his teammates to get onside, and Horton took it away from him. Horton, a pass for Nevin. It tipped into the Chicago zone, and Vasco goes back for it. 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the first period. Vasco is dumped, falls on top of the puck, and holds it there for a face-off. But he didn't put his hands on it, he just fell on it. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first period, 1-0. For the Chicago Blackhawks on Bobby Hull's goal from Pierre Palat and Stan Makita, 3:35. It's Kelly with Mahamlich and Stewart. Brewer and Bond on the defense. It comes back to the blue line, and Stewart deflected it to Brewer, but it was too hard. He couldn't control it. Mahamlich was covered, but he gets the puck into the Chicago zone. And Fleming brings it back. Fleming to the blue line, and missed a check from Bond. And the puck goes into the Leaf zone. Brewer trapping it and shooting it down the ice. We have 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining in the first period. It's called for icing as Brewer just shot it down the ice, and the Hawks move into Leaf territory. It's Horvath, Nesterenko, and Fleming. Carl Brewer and Bob Bond on the defense for the Maple Leafs. Kelly and Mahavlich along with Stewart. Dollar Sandoval with Jack Evans on the defense for the Chicago Blackhawks, and it goes back to Evans. Evans tried to wrap it against the boards, poked it into the corner, and Brewer takes it behind the Leaf goal over to the far wing, number 2. Couldn't get out. Horvath stopped him. Horvath takes a shot. Nesterenko threw the rack at the bouncing puck and missed it. Nesterenko again, watched by Mahamlich. Then it's to Fleming. Fleming tried to center it. And Brewer takes it again to Stewart. Stewart ahead for Kelly. Kelly up to center ice. A pass for Stewart, failed to click, and Evans comes back for Chicago over the line. Bauer shoots it to the blue line. It goes out over the line, and Nesterenko's back there for it. Nesterenko shot the puck in. It goes over the red line. Onward touches it, called for icing as Mr. Enklo cleared it from the Chicago side of that checkered line at center. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in the first period. 1-0 Chicago. Face-off back in the Chicago zone to the left. Keon with Mahavlich. Mahavlich going off now, and Armstrong and Duff out there. Martin and Stanley. Warham with McDonald. Makita, Vasco, and Pierre Palat. All set to go. The puck is dropped. Makita gets it out over the line to center ice, and it's Armstrong turning. He flips it right back into the Chicago zone, and Warham is back there for it. He flips it along the boards. McDonald partially checked by Armstrong. It's behind him. He gives it to Vasco, number 4. 55 seconds remaining in the first period. Warham clears the pass to Palat. Palat is bumped by Armstrong. Vasco then a pass ahead to McDonald. He gets it out to Warham at center ice, and Stanley intercepts a pass over to Duff. Duff trying to get in the left lane, ran into Palat. And Makita is bumped by Duff. It comes back to Horton. Here's the shot. And it goes high. Vasco pushing ahead with his glove. Horton slaps it around again into the corner behind the net. It's Keon passing it back to Stanley. Stanley had to shoot it back, and it goes behind the Chicago goal. Vasco shoots it off the boards to McDonald. 15 seconds left in the period. Out to Warham. Stanley flicks it out over the line. Palat gets away from Keon to Makita. Over on the left side for McDonald. 4 seconds. Armstrong bumped into McDonald. Keon turns with 1 second remaining. Out over the blue line. There goes the bell. The first period is over.
The Maple Leafs trailing 1-0 on a goal by Bobby Hall, and Ward Cornell is standing by with a couple of players who've already been eliminated in the Stanley Cup playoffs, the great Gordie Howe and Jacques Plante.
Good evening, everyone. Ward Cornell here, and welcome to the first intermission, the first game of the 1962 Stanley Cup Finals. And we're happy to have as our first guest one of the great players of the National Hockey League, Vezina Trophy winner Jacques Plante. Jacques, except for the score from this first period, is there any similarity between this series and your series with Chicago?
I think that Chicago had the puck in the Toronto Zenit drink more than the other way around. But Toronto had a few good chances in there, and Ben Howell came up with a few good saves. And outside of that, I think that it's about the same thing as in Montreal. Chicago is ahead.
Mm-hmm. Jacques, without going into too much of a post-mortem of your series, if you could pinpoint some of the reasons why you felt that the Canadians didn't come on as strongly as they might have.
I think that the young players that kept us in there all year round couldn't come up with the same play as they did during the season. They looked tight out there, and that's why I think that they were waiting a split second to make their plays, and Chicago, being skating like they're doing just now, took advantage of it. And beside that, our big guns like Henry Richard, Jeffrey Owen, Beliveau didn't come up with the play that we thought that would put us in there. So I think that's where the difference was.
Jacques, I want to ask you some questions about goalkeeping, and especially in that last series. The crowds, both in Chicago and New York, are a very exciting crowd, and they're really for their team, and they're noisy. Do they ever give the goalers a hard time?
They used to give us a hard time when they had the screen behind the nets, but now we don't hear them. As long as they're far away, it doesn't bother us. But in Detroit especially, they used to sit right on top of the board. So they were over you and yelling at you all the time, and at the end you used to get tired of hearing that, even though I never answered them. I still knew that they were there. But with this glass behind the net now, it's a better game.
What about in Boston? I think you had an interesting relationship down there, didn't you, with the fans?
Yes, I had this kid giving it to me all the time when we were coming off the ice and on the ice too during the game. And after one game, we won the game, and I felt good, so I just threw my stick at him and I said, "Here, shut up." So ever since, he's been one of my best friends in Boston.
Jacques, when you get into a big series, well, actually into any game, it's often important for the goalie to be able to ease the pressure, I think. Now, how do you do it before a game?
For me, I don't think that there's any difference between a playoff game and a scheduled game. If you want to finish on top, you always have to have a lot of pressure on you. And when comes playoff time, it's the same thing. You still have that pressure there. And I tried for myself to forget about the game until the game starts. I try to be quiet. I don't talk to nobody. And when the game starts, then I start to yell.
And incidentally, do you yell much at your players?
I talk to them all the time, and I want them to know that I'm behind them, and I let them know what I want them to do, especially the defensemen.
Good. Thank you very much, Doc. Stick around. We'll be chatting with you probably later in the game. Well, now, standing by and ready to move in here, one of the great hockey players of all time, and he's so well tanned he didn't even need television makeup tonight. Gordie Howe, where'd you get that lovely tan, Gordie?
Well, the wife and I took off, as a matter of fact, right after we'd lost out. Finished that 70th game, we took off for Las Vegas, a little place called Aspen.
Oh, that's the skiing place.
Well, that's something I've always wanted to do, so I finally got the chance. I'd rather be out here playing, but my ambition, seeing that the wife likes it and all my friends around the Detroit area seem to have taken the bug of skiing, I had an opportunity to try it, and I like it too.
You do, eh?
Yes, it's...
Did you go right up to the top and come down?
The first trip we went to the top, and they taught me how to snowplow, and they said, now get down. There's only 4.5 miles to go.
Well, I assumed that you'd always start at the top. Were you awfully bushed after the season this year, more than usual, Gordie?
No, surprisingly not this year. I'd say I felt as strong, if not stronger than I have in the last 4 years, but it just so happens that I don't think we had the horses. We knew we had a struggle right from the start when our coach said, with the meeting, as a matter of fact, on the first game, said the clubs were supposed to beat naturally them all, but when you meet such clubs as Boston and New York, try a little extra, because those are the two clubs we have to get out of there. As it proved, we had one out, but New York snuck in ahead of us.
Well, Gordie, you'll be having the job tonight of picking the three stars, and you're evaluating the game as it goes along. But what do you feel about it so far?
Well, I see one thing brewing out there, and it's an awful feud between a few individuals. I know Dickie Duff's having his troubles, and also Bobby. He's running Bobby Braun. He's always been a very tough competitor, and anyone who plays as hard at the game as he does, he's bound to pick up a few enemies. So I say the series is going to be long and rugged. Who's going to win determines on the better man or the luckier club. But they've been so even throughout this past year, I cannot pick them right now.
You can't, eh? Well, we'll be looking forward at the end of the game for your three-star selection and your reasons. Thanks very much, Gordie Howe.
John, it's well documented about your friendship with Gordie Howe during your playing days, and I know you used to do a little fishing together in the off-season, a couple of Western boys that enjoyed that aspect of it. Tell us a little bit about that relationship.
Well, Gordie and I, we met each other in Saskatoon. I played against him in junior hockey. I was in Prince Albert and he was in Saskatoon, actually, and we got to know each other real well, and of course, when I got up to the big time there, I thought, oh my, I'm going to be playing against him, but...
and he'd been in the league by then for, what, 4 or 5 years anyway,
yeah,
I guess, eh?
At least, yeah, 4 or 5 years anyway, and we were good fishing buddies and everything else, and but he was a great hockey player. I mean, when first game I played against him, I can recall he's always a quick shot, good wrist shot in that lake, you know, and he gave me a lot of problems.
Now, did you have much banter on the ice? Would he talk to you? Would he, or was that left for after the game?
No, I wasn't afraid to leave my net to go in the corner, because he'd yell at me. He said, "Look out, John, I'm behind you." But I wouldn't leave if Tef Lindsay was coming or anything. I know that. But he gave me a clue, like, you know, like I'm behind you or something like that. So he was pretty good that way to me. I don't know what he was like to the other goaltenders, but maybe knowing me that we were sort of buddies, he just had a little pity for me again.
Must have had something to do with the air in that fishing area that you were in, because both of you played till well into your 40s and 50s, so it had to be something. There must have been the good air out there.
Well, there's always good air up there. We were way up north there. And
any fish?
Catch a lot of fish. He's a good fisher. He's lucky too, you know.
He isn't?
Oh, he is.
No.
I'm telling you. He can throw a rod or a line in one direction. He never throws the same place always. He's always catching a big northern pike up there.
And you're in there with the net helping
I'm there
and not getting any.
There's jigging, yeah.
John Bauer and Gordie Howe, a special moment and a special friendship between two players in the original 6, and it is 1-0 in favor of the Chicago Blackhawks. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. John Bauer is our guest as the Leafs trail 1-0 to the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final in 1962, April of that year. You know, in talking with Red Kelly and others, Punch Imlach felt that Red was the last key and piece of the puzzle that was required, that they needed a good checking centerman to match up with the Canadians and with the Red Wings and with the Blackhawks, as it turned out, for strength down the middle. And when you add Dave Keon, who is a fairly young player at this particular point in his career, John, along with Bobby Pulford and Red Kelly, and then add Billy Harris, who was spotted a little bit as maybe the fourth centerman down the middle, the Leafs are very strong up the middle.
I would say so. I mean, that was another big thing, too, that Punch was thinking of strength down the middle. And if you ever watch Red Kelly real close, he passed that puck, he put it right on the Howell's stick, or Bobby Neville, whoever he was playing with. And he'd never slap it. He just put it right on him, just a perfect pass in that fight, you know. But we had the strength down the middle, and that was a big factor, I think, why we won so far, too. And he was a good utility man. He could play defense, too, as well.
Well, that's the aspect that I wanted to ask you. When you're sitting in the dressing room and you've just acquired Red Kelly, Norris Trophy winner, one of the best defensemen in the National Hockey League, and he walks into the Leaf dressing room, and in the very first game, I think it's against the Canadiens, if I'm not mistaken, Punch comes in and tells everybody that the best defenseman in the National Hockey League is going to play center tonight. Now, as a goaltender, you must have went, hey, just a minute here. What are you doing to me?
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was wondering, but I hadn't, we have no alternative. I mean, he's a coach, and he'd like to mix his lines up, too, as well.
But did you think it was strange at the time that would happen?
It seemed like it was strange, yeah. And then I think Punch knew what he was doing. And, of course, if Kelly didn't play too well up in front, he'd put him back again. But Red was so good going both ways, like, you know, that he had no problem at all.
And, of course, the two defensemen that were out there with him would have a lot of confidence in their own end of the rink, knowing that he knew their responsibilities and what had to go on.
That's right. And, of course, I think it's one of the best hard-hitting games that I've seen Timmy Horton play. He carried the puck, he skated, he shot, he took out Bobby Hull, and same with Carl Brewer. My defense and even Alan Stanley, look at the boy, oh boy, he's not the greatest skater, but he sure handled that puck well, and he was really good in your own end.
Snowshoes. So anyway, we've got a 1-0 Chicago lead, however, at the end of one period of play in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
So we're all set now to start the second period of this first game of the Stanley Cup Finals between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Chicago Blackhawks are in white. The Toronto Maple Leafs in their dark blue sweaters. And from the face-off, it comes back to Stanley. Stanley tries to move up. Passed it to Kelly, a long shot. Hall stopped that. Vasco goes back for it. Mahavlich moved in quickly. It goes into the corner. Slides along on the boards. Horvath and Nestorenko had it against the boards, and Nestorenko held it there long enough for a face-off as we've played now 18 seconds of the second period. 1-0 Chicago. 9 penalties in the first period, 5 to the Leafs and 4 to Chicago. Puck is back of the Chicago goal, and it's Vasco, number 4. A clearing pass at center ice. From Horvath to Fleming, it's passed right back to Horvath, number 9. He turns, being watched by Kelly. Nestorenko came back neatly. Stick handles by Stewart. Stick handles past Mahavlich. A pass to Horvath. Back to Palat. Palat to Fleming. Fleming to Nestorenko. A shot. Bauer stopped that on a drive by Nestorenko. On a close play around the Maple Leaf goal. Face off to the left of the Maple Leaf net. Chicago playing every man up. Palat is well inside the blue line. Vasco is back. You can see Palat over in the far corner, just inside the blue line. He moved up. Now he's moving up further. He moves up almost like a forward, and they only use one back. Here's Palat getting set for the shot. Bauer stopped that, and it's Stewart falling, clearing it out for Kelly. Kelly shoots the puck into the Chicago zone, and this Nestorenko is back there, lost it to Mahavlich. He passed it out in front. Fleming and Palat bumped together. Palat right in front of the net to Vasco. A clearing pass for Fleming. Fleming in possession for Chicago. Over to Palat. Up at center. Over the blue line. A pass in front, and it goes all the way to Mahavlich. Mahavlich just shot it to the blue line and out. Kelly was checked. The puck was knocked by a glove at the Chicago bench, and so play is called immediately. We played 1 minute and 23 seconds of the second period. One nothing Chicago. Maple Leaf bench. Out at center ice, Makita with Warren and McDonald. Armstrong took it away from him. Gets up over the Chicago line. A flip pass for Duff. He's closing in. A pass for Keon. He scores! Keon ties it up. On that pass from Duff. And it's a 1-1 tie. Score is tied 1-1. Chicago 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Armstrong will likely also get an assist on the play. So it's Keon from Duff and Armstrong, and the puck is at center ice. Brewer shoots the puck into the Chicago zone, and it's Evans going back for it. Evans checked by Armstrong. Chopped over to McDonald. McDonald ahead to Makita. Makita up at center. A pass over to Warren. Warren takes his shot wide. Bauer knocked into the corner. Duff hit by Warren. And Brewer back in the corner. A pass to Armstrong. He's hit by St. Laurent. Brewer coming up
by number 14, Keon. Assist, number 9, Duff, and number 10, Armstrong. 1:32.
1:32 is the official time of the goals. The puck comes back to Brewer. Brewer takes his shot. Hall stops that. And Keon is stopped by Hall again. Hall stopping Keon from point-blank range on the rebound. Now we have some rubber balls out on the ice. 3 of them. See the linesman picking them up? Taking them over to the official timer's box. 3 little red balls. Face-off in the Chicago zone. Referee Eddie Powers has gone over to the Chicago bench with Makita. Makita gets a new stick. Face off in the corner in the Chicago zone to the left of Glenn Hall. It's Keon with Duff and Armstrong. Vaughn and Brewer playing up. On the face-off, Vaughn crashes into Makita. The puck goes out to Warren, but he couldn't control it, and Brewer shoots it off the boards for Duff. It's going into the Chicago zone. Vasco touches it. Call for icing as Brewer had cleared from his own side of the checkered line. We've reached the 2:36 mark of the second period, a 1-1 tie. Chicago 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1, and Glenn Hall is going over to the bench. His pad broken. Yes, it's the suspenders, all right. There you see it. So he's getting minor repairs over at the Chicago bench. Now anything can happen in this game the way they're going. Plenty of rough stuff in the first period, with the Blackhawks scoring the only goal. Now then, Glenn Hall's all fixed up. Has a new strap. Skating back to his net after robbing Dave Keon on a rebound, making a sensational save. All set to go now out the other end, which is the north end of my left. To the left of Bauer. Linesman George Hayes chases Duff and Warren out of the circle, and then play starts as Palat took a shot and Keon breaks it up. Keon comes down to center ice. Up over the Chicago line. He's jammed out by Vasco. Vasco fell. Armstrong went after the puck, and Makita comes up with it. Gets away from Duff. Makita up to center ice with McDonald. A pass to Warren over the line, and Brewer breaks it up by shooting it out to center ice. Duff ran into Palat. Bumps into him again. And Duff and Palat start talking to one another again. Play goes right on. Makita passed it back to the blue line. It goes out. And Palat and Duff bump again together. Brewer a pass to Armstrong. Ahead to Keon. Up over the Chicago line. Keon was knocked down by Vasco. Makita hopped in, but Armstrong took it away from him. Passed it out in front. Then Litzenberger took a whack at it. Another whack at it. It comes to the blue line. Bond was hit by Warren, and McDonald gets the break. One man back, one down for Chicago. Here comes the shot. Bauer stopped it, a long one. And Brewer gets the rebound. Ahead to Litzenberger. Litzenberger for Nevin. Intercepted by Palat. Over to McDonald. In over the line, and McDonald is knocked out of the play. Balfour of Chicago lost it to Keon. Keon, a long pass for Nevin. Nevin going over the Chicago line with Litzenberger. Litzenberger tried to get the pass, and Vasco breaks it up. Ahead to Balfour. Balfour down the right wing alone. Hay trying to get up with him. Balfour takes his shot. It was wide. Hay gets the rebound. Shoots it around behind the Leaf goal, and Stanley comes up with it. We've passed the 4-minute mark. A 1-1 tie in the second period. Stanley is dumped. He pushes the puck ahead. There's going to be a penalty for Balfour, number 8. Of Chicago. Balfour gets the gate. That gives the Leafs the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5. Score is tied 1-1 in this first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. We'll wait for the official time on the penalty.
Chicago penalty, number 8, Balfour. 2 minutes for holding.
Holding penalty.
Time 4:22.
We're at the 4:22 mark of the second period. Puck goes back to Bauer. Bauer leaves it for Kelly. Kelly starts out with Pulford trailing. Mahavlich on his left to Pulford. Pulford up at center. Over the line with a long bouncer. Bounce pass called it wide of the net. Fleming is jammed in on the boards. And Pulford is given a jolt by Saint Laurent. And Fleming gets it to Turner. Mahavlich skated him out. He goes back over the line. Mahavlich a pass for Pulford. And he couldn't get a shot. Mahavlich was knocked down, and Turner comes back. Nevin watching him. Over the line for Turner. He stops. Watched by Kelly. Goes against the boards. Tries to hold it there. He's successful, along with Fleming, and there's no further play. On the faceoff, it's back to the blue line, out to center ice, and Evans shoots it over on the wing, and Horton goes back for it. Horton, Pulford, Kelly, Mahavlich, and Nevin. Horton leads the attack with Mahavlich. A long pass from Mahavlich, knocked down by Evans. Evans is then bowled over by Pulford. Then Pulford is hit by Turner, and he runs back into him. Back up for Nevin. Over the Chicago line. Nevin trying to cut in. Rolled it near the net, and Hall stopped it. Pulford ran into Saint Laurent, and Evans finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. 40 seconds left in Balfour's penalty. Up the ice for Kelly. Kelly, a long pass to Mahavlich down the left wing. Over the line, cutting in, a pass to Nevin. Nevin took a shot, and it was stopped and cleared off to the side by Turner. It comes back to the blue line. Kelly getting set. He passes to Horton. Horton takes his shot, and that's wide. Nevin tried to pass it out in front. Horton pokes it over towards Keon, but Fleming beat him to it. And he handed it right back to Keon. Keon a pass to Kelly, up over the Chicago line. Kelly cutting in with Duff. Oh, and Hall made a perfect save on Duff. A sensational save by Glenn Hall on Dick Duff as he came out to meet him. Now then, Balfour back on the ice. Chicago with Hay over the line. He passed to Hull, to Saint Laurent, over to Palat. Palat was hit. And it's Kelly. A pass out on the right wing. Keon pokes it, and Saint Laurent takes it, number 19 for Chicago, back to Hull. Hull over to Hay. Up at center. Over the line. Stopped by Horton, and Keon goes back. He's checked by Balfour. And Armstrong moved up, and it goes high. Hay, a pass for Balfour on the right wing. Duff pokes it, and it's going over the glass into the rail seats, right by the Chicago players' bench. We've played 7 minutes and 7 seconds of the second period. Chicago 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1. Face-off is inside the Maple Leaf blue line, just inside. Makita at center ice. Warren on the right wing. McDonald on the left. Facing Keon, Duff and Armstrong, Brewer and Bond. On the face-off, Bond starts out Was checked by McDonald. The puck goes wide of the Leaf goal, and it's Armstrong, number 10, back for it. Armstrong to Brewer. Brewer flipped it off the boards. Pierre Palat kept it in, and he's checked by Armstrong. One man back. Armstrong races down the ice. Fakes a shot, lets it go, and it was wide. Armstrong moves up again. Vasco took him out of the play, but Armstrong tipped it on the wing. It's handed back to him by Warham. Keon goes behind the net. Tried to center it. It's back to Bond. Bond shoots it around behind the net. Armstrong to Duff. Duff shot it back again. Armstrong trying to get it back, and Nikita took it away from him. Nikita at his own blue line, up the center ice. Up over the Leaf line. Past it, and Duff intercepts and clears it down the ice. It's going to go over the red line as we pass the 8-minute mark in the second period, 1-1. Vasco touches it. The Leafs are called for icing. We've played 8 minutes and 4 seconds of the second period with the score tied 1-1. Now it's Hay with Hull and Balfour. The Leafs have Fulford with Nevin and Litzenberger. Evans and St. Laurent back at the blue line, and from the face-off, the puck comes back to Evans. Evans takes his shot. It's deflected into the corner. Hull tried to center it. Fulford. A flip pass to Nevin. Nevin working his way out. His pass for Fulford was blocked. Hull gets set for the shot. Bauer stopped that. Into the corner. A pass to Fulford. Fulford tries to come out. Gets over his own blue line. Turns. Hay watching him. A pass to Horton. Horton up the center with Fulford over the line. They're closing in. Horton shoots it. And Evans fell in front of it and covered up neatly. Face-off will be in the Chicago zone to the left. Fulford, Litzenberger, and Nevin facing Hay, Hull, and Balfour. St. Laurent taking the face-off for Chicago in the circle, gets it back to Hull. Bobby Hull goes behind the Chicago goal. Here's the pass out to Evans. Evans goes up to his own blue line with a pass to Balfour. Balfour shoots it. Stanley whacks it right back to center. St. Laurent off the boards. Horton moves up. He passed it back, and it's St. Laurent intercepting, shooting it back into the Leaf zone, wide of the net, and it's Stanley back for it. Stanley a pass to Litzenberger. Litzenberger a pass for Fulford. Up the center ice. He took a shot, goes after his own rebound. Balfour bumps into him. The puck goes into the corner, and Hull gets a break down the left side. He passes way over to Hay on the right wing. Hay gets up over the blue line. Horton bumped into him, and Nevin takes the puck. Evans goes down his wrong wing. Up with Fulford over the line. Evans had him covered, and St. Laurent gets the loose puck for Chicago. Jams Litzenberger in on the boards. Nevin then passed it back, and Hay clears it out on the left wing for Hull. Hull down the left side. Up over the blue line. Missed a check from Horton. Nevin pokes the puck into the corner. Bumped into him. It comes back to Hay to St. Laurent. Takes his shot. Stanley knocked it down. It goes into the corner again, and Horton tries to come out. Horton flicks it. It goes over the glass, and play is called as we come to the 10-minute mark of the second period in 5 seconds. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. Chicago 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1 in this second period as we get set to start again. The puck is dropped. Here, Palat let one go. That's wide. Even Bauer didn't even see it. Bond, a clearing pass. Stewart couldn't get it out. Here's Vasco getting a chance to pass to Horvath, and Bauer slid out to make the save. Stewart nearly put it in his own net. Horvath is knocked down on top of Bauer. And both goalkeepers coming up with some key saves. Bauer with the puck. And the face-off in the Maple Leaf zone to the right. Brewer, Bond on the defense. Kelly with Mahavlich and Stewart. It's Horvath with Nestorenko and Fleming. Palat and Vasco on the blue line. It's Kelly, a pass to Mahavlich, intercepted by Palat. Palat gets it over to Fleming. Fleming takes his shot. It's deflected wide. Now it's Stewart. He's checked by Fleming. Mahavlich goes after the puck. Nestorenko beat him to it. Palat moves in to cover Kelly. Holds it against the boards. It goes loose to Nestorenko. Nestorenko passed it out to Horvath. And Brewers grabbed by Nestorenko. Play is called. And there could be a penalty here. Brewer and Nesterenko. Brewer is going to get the penalty for high sticking. Brewer of the Leafs goes to the penalty box. That'll give Chicago the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5. The score is tied 1-1. Chicago 1, make the Leafs 1.
Number 2, Brewer. 2 minutes for high sticking.
High sticking.
Time 10:38.
10:38 is the official time of the high sticking penalty to Brewer. So Chicago will send out Hay, McDonald, Hull, Palat, and Makita. The Leafs will counter with Pulford and Nevin, Horton and Stanley, as the Blackhawks have the man advantage, 6 men to 5. The score is tied 1-1 at the 10:38 mark of the second period. It's on the face-off. The puck goes from Hull back to Makita. Makita was stopped by Pulford, and Pulford shot the puck down the ice. Palat goes back for it, number 3, behind the Chicago goal, at the south end of my right, and leaves it there for Stan Makita. Makita now working his way out. Going up to his own blue line, up to the checkered line in center, gains momentum, clears the puck into the Leaf zone, is dumped by Horton. Nevin finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. Palat goes back for it for Chicago. Palat waiting, still in front of his own net. Chased back, gave it to Hay, and Hay starts up now. He left it for Makita. Makita up to center ice. Long shot. Bauer knocked it down, shot it off to the side. Nevin cleared it, but not out. Pulford got the rebound, went after it, ran into Makita. Makita then checked by Nevin. Nevin going down, one man back. Tried to go around Palat, and it was too well covered. 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the second period. Up for McDonald. He rolls it through. Bauer came out of the net, cleared it, but not out. Hay keeps it in. 45 seconds left in Brewer's penalty. A pass to McDonald in the corner. McDonald back to Hay, back to Makita. Makita couldn't keep it in. He's bumped by Pulford, and the puck goes over to Palat. Palat goes back into his own zone. A pass ahead to Makita. Makita's bumped by Pulford and knocked down. And a pass over on the right wing to McDonald. Up at center ice. A pass over to Hay over the line. Hull tried to help him out. It's against the boards. He passed it over to Makita. Makita getting set to shot. Bauer caught it and held on to it for a face-off. 7 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the second period, and the score is tied 1-1, a 1-all tie. Now then Keon comes out with Armstrong. 12 seconds left in the penalty to Brewer. It's Horvath with Nesterenko and Fleming. St. Laurent and Evans on the defense. On the face-off, it goes to Nesterenko. He left it for Evans. Evans, number 5, bumped into the boards by Keon, and Keon shoots it down the ice. 5 seconds left in the penalty to Brewer, as Evans goes back for it. Now then, Brewer is back on the ice. The score is still tied 1-1. And the bad pass ends up on Duff's stick. Duff turns to the Leafs, takes a shot. Armstrong trying to get it loose. Keon then backhands the puck into the corner. St. Laurent leaves it for Fleming. Armstrong took him out of the play. Duff is knocked into the boards by Nesterenko. Horvath tries to get it out. He does. Nesterenko goes after it. Bond chopped it back. It hit the glass. And Duff takes it as Bond and Nesterenko mix it up a little. Up for Brewer over the Chicago line. He passed it through for Duff, and his shot deflects high. And it's going up into the end blue. Second roll. 6 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in the second period. The score is tied 1-1, a 1-all tie. Keon, Duff, and Armstrong, Brewer and Bond, Evans, and St. Laurent with Horvath, Fleming, Nesterenko. All set to go for the face-off. They didn't drop it fairly. The players were hopping into that circle again. And the linesman calls it. This time it was George Hayes. He's wearing striped jersey number 9. The other linesman is Ron Wicks, striped jersey number 11. Of course, referee Eddie Powers, number 1. There's a shot that goes wide of the Chicago goal. It's still in the Chicago zone. Armstrong, number 10, fighting for it. Passed it to Keon. He left it there. Armstrong just failed to get to it, and Horvath skates in behind the Chicago net. Horvath, the pass on the right wing to Evans. Evans, the pass to Horvath. His pass for Nesterenko is going into the Leaf zone over the red line. Brewer, by Nesterenko, and there could be a penalty there to Nesterenko. Nesterenko of Chicago gets the gate. And that gives the Leafs the odd man advantage now, playing 6 men to 5. It's a 1-1 tie. Chicago 1, Toronto Maple Leafs 1.
Chicago penalty. Number 15, Nesterenko. 2 minutes for roughing. Time 13:43.
13:43 is the time of the roughing penalty to Nesterenko. Faceoff goes back into the Chicago zone. And the Leafs are sending out Stanley, along with Horton, Kelly, Stewart, and Mahavlich. Turner's out there with Fleming to kill off the penalty. Fleming tried to get out on the left wing. Horton kept it in. Stewart went after it. Stewart still has it. Passed it right to Mahavlich. A shot. He scores! Took the pass and fired it home, and it's now 2-1 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. On the face-off, the puck is back at the defense. Chicago clear it. Vasco handing it to Mahavlich, and he shot it into the Chicago zone. Vasco is watched by Kelly. Pair of fours. Then Hull knocks Stewart down. Stewart and Hull both go down on the second try. Hull trying to fight his way out. And it's Haya pass to Nesterenko. Nesterenko coming down over the blue line. Getting set. Pass it out in front.
Number 12, Stewart. Time 13:54.
Nesterenko grabbing the Leaf corner again, and he gets another penalty. Nesterenko goes to penalty box again as he grabbed the Leaf player. And we'll give you the official time of that goal in just a moment. It was Mahavlich from Kelly and Stewart.
Chicago penalty.
Here's the
number
penalty.
15, Nesterenko. 2 minutes for high sticking. Time 14:30.
14:30, they call it high sticking. And the puck goes from Armstrong back to Horton. Horton over to Kelly. Kelly moves up the center. A pass to Duff into the Chicago zone. Kelly races in after it. Pass it back for Duff. A shot. And Hall stopped that. There's Kelly getting it again. Back to Armstrong. A shot. Duff missed the rebound. Turner clears it out. Fleming races after it. And Horton flipped it back. Turner follows up though for Chicago over the line. Takes a shot. Bauer juggled it and whacked it to the blue line. Saint Laurent keeps it in. Takes his shot, and Bauer stopped that. It's Horton in the corner being watched. Duff over to Armstrong. Up over the Chicago line. Armstrong took a shot. Duff missed the rebound. 13:54 was the official time of Mahavlich's goal. And it's Keon turning now, going over the Chicago line, a pass to the opposite wing. and Evans gets it. Evans just shoots it out to center ice, and Stanley passes it to Armstrong, over to Keon, over the line offside. And Keon was dumped by Fleming. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto. In the second period, Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1. Last scoring play, Mahovlich from Kelly and Stewart. Nesterenko in the penalty box. It goes back over Brewer's stick into the Leaf zone, and Brewer goes back for it. Brewer watched by Fleming. Brewer gets it to Pulford. Pulford to Litzenberger. Litzenberger clears the puck into the Chicago zone, goes after it. Fleming beat him to it. Litzenberger tried to center it. It's Litzenberger getting the puck, passed it right in front of the net. And it was cleared by Palat to center ice. Nesterenko has 30 seconds left in his penalty as Pulford. A pass to Nevin. Over the line, he tried to relay it. Palat comes up with it, cleared it out to center ice. Bond moves up for the Leafs, number 21, goes through the defense, but lost possession of the puck. And Turner takes it for Chicago, cleared it around on the boards. It comes back to Bond. Bond takes his shot, it bounces to Palat, and Palat clears it over on the right wing to Turner. Turner down at center ice. Over the blue line, stopped by Brewer, and Brewer turns with Pulford. Nesterenko is back on the ice. Brewer, partially checked by Nesterenko. Pulford bumped into Makita. Hull gets over the line for Chicago. Watched by Nevin. Nesterenko's out there with him. Hull tried to center it, ran into Pulford. Goes into the corner on the opposite side. Palat centered it out in front, and the Leafs with Litzenberger being bumped. It's cleared to the blue line. Nevin goes after it. Nevin goes down the ice for the Leafs over the Chicago line. Goes right in our goal. Made the save on Nevin. Back for Bobby Hull. Up over the Leaf line. The shot. Karam wide. Bauer leaves it for Stanley over to Litzenberger. Litzenberger ran into Makita. He chopped it back, and the Leafs get a two-man break, one-man back. It's Pulford and Nevin going in together. Pass to Nevin, back to Pulford, and he puts him behind. It was shot by Bond as he ran into Delalaw, and the puck goes against the board. Play is called, and there's going to be a penalty.
Frank Mahovlich has scored, as has Dave Keon in the second period, and the Maple Leafs have taken the lead 2-1 over the Chicago Blackhawks. And as you watch Frank Mahovlich celebrate after that goal, John Bauer, here's a man at this particular point in his career who has not had really the extra pressure attached to him that would come later on by general manager and coach Punch Imlach, that would cause him to have a lot of health problems and subsequently be traded. But the year before, in 60-61, he has scored 48 goals, and after this playoff series, the next year, as a matter of fact, the Chicago Blackhawks would offer him, or at least offer the Leafs, $1 million for him. I don't think Frank was going to get an awful lot of that money, but the Leafs were offered the $1 million, but subsequently was turned down. Obviously, he and Hull, the two prominent left wingers in the game at this point in their careers.
Oh, definitely, and I was certainly glad the deal didn't go through, because I still think Frank is a great hockey player for our team, and when he got that goal, he was so happy and thrilled, like you mentioned. He was in second heaven there, and he was a big asset to our, and he backchecked, and he skated too, by the way, so Punch had him really going then for some reason or other. But they had their personal problems or something like that, and it hurt Frank a little bit, but it was all ironed out later on anyway.
Now, John, as far as Mahovlich is concerned, the one thing that you remember is that long, graceful stride, that puck way out in front of him, and he didn't shoot the puck much less than velocity-wise than Bobby Hull, and you had to funnel around with him in practice.
That's right, yeah. Well, Frank had a good shot, a good rising shot. It would go up like this on you, so you had to pull up a little bit on him. And Punch always thought out that, I was puck shy or something. But it wasn't true. I one head, I want to keep it, eh? But but Frank was, he worked hard in practice too, and those long strides fooled everybody. He can take off when he wanted to take off.
And he could accelerate too.
And accelerate really quickly. Yep.
So the Leafs have taken the lead. Frank Mahovlich has scored his third goal of the playoffs from Ron Stewart and Red Kelly. Let's go back upstairs now to Bill Hewitt.
Allowed of Chicago, a hooking penalty. That'll give the Leafs the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5.
Number 3, Palat. 2 minutes for hooking.
A hooking
Time
penalty.
17:36.
17:36 is the time of the hooking penalty. Leafs have Keon, Duff and Armstrong, Horton and Kelly. Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1. It's back to Kelly. Kelly took his shot. That's wide. Armstrong got the rebound. Armstrong back to Horton. Horton took his shot. Right back to Armstrong again. Armstrong turns. Pass it over for Duff. Duff pass it back to Horton. Horton getting set. Takes a shot. Now gets ready. Let it go. It hits Sandoval's leg and bounces all the way back to center. Kelly goes back for it for the Leafs. He turns at his own blue line. Up to center. Over the Chicago line. A pass to Keon, intercepted by Fleming. Fleming comes back for Chicago to center. Up over the Leaf line. Takes his shot. It's wide. It rebounds all the way back to the blue line. And Duff gets out on the left side, only to have Evans take it away from him. Evans back to Sandoval. Sandoval gets it ahead to Fleming. Fleming wasting time. Passes it back for Turner. Turner to Fleming. Still has it. Finally passed it into the Maple Leaf zone on a neat bit of defensive work on the part of Fleming and Turner. Now then Kelly leads the attack for the Leafs at his own blue line. 4 of them up to center ice. It's shot over the line. Duff tried to break in. Keon does. Takes a shot and sent home. Made a dazzling save of that one with his left hand. And there's 1 minute and 8 seconds remaining in the second period. The score 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. Face off in the Chicago zone to the left. Fulford with Nevin and Mahavlich, Horton and Stanley. There's still about 43 seconds left in the penalty to Pierre Palat. All set to go for the face-off in the Chicago zone to the left of Hall. Nevin gets it back to Horton. Horton gets set, takes his shot. Hall made the save. It goes into the corner. Nesterenko whacked it off the boards, but not out. Stanley takes his shot. Hall stopped that. Hall whacked it off the boards. This time it goes down. And going back for it is Stanley. Stanley waits behind the Leaf goal. Now he starts up, leading a 4-man rush to center ice with Mahavlich. A long shot off the boards. Mahavlich moved up. Nesterenko is checked. Fulford passes it back to Horton. Horton lets his shot go. Evans stopped it. He's watched by Mahavlich. There's going to be a penalty to Mahavlich for holding Evans. Mahavlich will get the gate for the Leafs. Number 27, Mahavlich. Gets the gate. And the teams are now playing 5-a-side, but Pierre Palat only has 5 seconds left in his penalty.
Number 27, Mahavlich. 2 minutes for holding. Time 19:29.
19:29, a holding penalty to Mahavlich. That brings out Nevin and Fulford with Brewer and Bond on the defense. And Chicago have Hay with Bobby Hull, Makita, McDonald. They'll have to bring one of them off. Vasco's going off, number 4. Bard and Brewer on the defense for the Maple Leafs with 31 seconds remaining in the second period. The Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1. All set for the face-off. The puck goes back into the Chicago zone, and Stan Mikita's back there for it and goes behind his own net. Now he's gaining momentum. A drop pass to Bobby Hull, and turn out to McDonald on the right wing. McDonald up the center. Palat is back on the ice. Up for Chicago over the line. Nevin intercepted the pass and shoots it down the ice with 15 seconds left in the second period. Hull stops it. Passed it into the corner. Nevin had moved up, got it back again. Was jammed in on the boards by Hay. And Mikita comes up with 4 seconds to center ice. Passes over to Hull. Hull waited too long. And the bell goes to end the second period with Keon from Duff and Armstrong and Mahavlich from Kelly and Stewart giving the Leafs a 2-1 lead. And so at the end of the second period, the score, Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1.
At the end of 2 periods of play, the Leafs own the lead at the Gardens 2-1 in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final 1962. And Ward Cornell is standing by now with Toe Blake, coach of the Montreal Canadiens, and Bert Olmsted.
Happy now to have as our next intermission guest the coach of the Montreal Canadiens, Toe Blake. Toe, you've had a day to think about it, a day and a half, I guess. Could you evaluate your series with Chicago?
Well, Ward, let me first bring up the fact that I thought we had a very good chance of getting into the finals because our team, although we ran into quite a few injuries, our team played very well during the season. But I have to give Chicago credit. Every one of their players played very well, and it was a rough series, but not a dirty series like last year, and they deserve the win. They didn't steal it.
Toe, some people have asked me if there might have been a mental or a psychological block with the Canadians going back to Chicago this year after last year.
No, on the contrary, Ward, I thought that we'd be up for this series a lot more than last year because they did quite a bit to us, last year, not only in putting the puck by us, but they injured quite a few of our players. We thought it was a dirty series, and all year we kept getting the team up against them, and we did very well during the season. I just don't know what happened in the playoffs. I know we were accused of going out there and changing our style, but I don't know what for, because I only asked the players to go out and play the same way as they played during the season, which was good enough to beat them most of the time. But we ran into a few injuries, of course. I'm not alibiying at all, because this is one series that they played very well, and it's a funny thing, but I thought our boys would be up a little bit more than they were.
What about the youngsters playing their first big series? Did they react as you'd hoped or not?
Well, I thought a couple of them tightened up a little bit, Ward. Russo, of course, that was his first series, and he played very well during the season. I don't think he played quite as well in the playoffs. Mind you, he wasn't alone. There was a few more.
Well, thanks very much, Toe. Certainly we may see you later in this series, and we may see the Canadians in the finals next year. Our next guest now, a Maple Leaf player who has been with us different times during our semifinal series and may be back in the action, Bert Olmsted. By the way, Bert, did you ask? But what does an injured player do? Does he ask the coach if he can play again or not?
Well, really not until the day before the game, or game day, Ward. I didn't know I wasn't going to dress until 6:30 this evening. It's between the medical staff and, of course, the hockey committee to make the final decision on this injury, whether I play or dress, or whether I watch. I'm quite happy that I'm sitting out. I seem to get a reading on the trend of the game.
I was just going to say, now, one of your functions was to observe, wasn't it, when you sit out?
Yes, you...
What have you observed?
I think this is a real first-class hockey game. It's rough. I don't think it's exceptionally dirty. In fact, it isn't dirty, but it's tough. I expect the third period might slow down a little bit, but the outstanding hockey players will come to bat right now in the third period, and we should see some exceptionally good goaltending.
Good. Thank you very much, Bert Olmsted.
John Bauer, everybody that plays professional sports is a competitor. And you were a competitor. You didn't want to be beaten in practice. You didn't want to be beaten in a game. Bert Olmsted was a competitor, and maybe a notch above an awful lot of people in that department. He really did compete game in and game out, and his attitude was just that, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, and of course, coming from Montreal, he didn't know the word to lose, what lose was, and they were taught to win and win and win and win. And I can tell you a story about Bert, too. When we first got him, I guess it was the second year, I knew he was a great competitor. But he wasn't the greatest skater in the world, mind you, and he told me one day, he says to me, he says, John, I'm going to tell you something. He said, when I go down that wing, he says, and I get caught, he says, you better stop that puck. And he says, because he says, I'm going down there for you to bat. And he says, maybe I'm slow coming back, but he says, I don't want you to score. Make sure he doesn't score any goals on my side. So all the goals are going on George Armstrong's side, not Rooney's. So he got a little perturbed at me there. But he was a great competitor, there's no doubt about it. He was a loner more or less in his own way, but he just hated to lose.
Now, John, in the dressing room, if a youngster or an oldster wasn't pulling his weight, Bert Olmsted was one to stand up and get right in his face, wasn't he?
He would get in there and just tell everybody, hey, Bert didn't care at all. He'd tell everybody, look, we got to win this game. There's no, you know, we don't want to lose. We got to win it. Everybody's got to do their job. And, you know, it certainly helped the younger guys, too, as well.
So Bert Olmsted, a big part of the Leaf intensity as they tangle with the Chicago Blackhawks. April 10th, 1962, and they have a 2-1 lead at the end of 2 periods of play. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. You see the summaries of the first 2 periods. Bobby Hull in the first with his 5th of the playoffs, then Dave Keon and Frank Mahovlich scoring in the second period. Let's revisit those goals.
Hull gets it back to the blue line to Palat. Palat fakes a shot over here to Makita. Here's the pass to Hull. Hull shoots. He scores! Bobby Hull fired a quick one, and it's 1-0. Out at center ice, Makita was Lorem and McDonald. Armstrong took it away from him. Gets up over the Chicago line. A flip pass for Duff. He's closing in. A pass for Keon. He scores! Horton kept it in. Stewart went after it. Stewart still has it. Passed it right to Mahovlich. A shot. He scores!
You're watching Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.
Referee Eddie Powers has called the teams to center ice now for the 3rd period. Chicago defending the north end of my left, and the Maple Leafs the south end of the right. Here's Mahovlich in the penalty box. He has 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Chicago will have the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5. And they have Hay at center ice with McDonald and Hull on the wings, Palat and Makita on the defense. That's 4 forwards and 1 defenseman. Fulford with Nevin and Stanley along with Horton. From the faceoff, the puck is cleared up to the Chicago blue line, and it's Palat back for it. Just started the 3rd period, and it's 2-1 for the Maple Leafs as Makita at his own blue line is stopped by Fulford and shot back into the Chicago zone. Back there for it is Palat. Palat holds it there. Pass it ahead to Makita at his own blue line up to center ice. Up to the Leaf line and over. Stopped by Stanley and shot down the ice again. Going back for it. Palat. And he waits there behind the Chicago goal. He's bumped by Nevin. Fulford goes in after it, number 20. Jammed against the boards by Hull. Hay tries to get it. And they hold it there for a face-off, but it'll come outside the blue line. Approaching the 1-minute mark in the 3rd period. 2-1 for the Maple Leafs over the Chicago Blackhawks. Hay with McDonald and Hull. Palat and Makita. Facing Nevin with Fulford, Horton, and Stanley. The puck is back to Palat. Palat coming up the center. Up over the Leaf line with a pass on the left wing. Horton knocked it down, but Hull keeps it in. He shoots it wide of the Leaf goal, ends up behind the net. Stanley goes after it. He can't get it out, gets it again, hit Hay with it. Hay, number 11, tried to center it. Horton fell into it, he didn't see it. Hull is jammed there by Fulford, and there's no further play. Face off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left, and the Blackhawks pressing with 15 seconds left in Mahovlich's penalty. And the Leafs lead 2-1. Face off in the Maple Leaf zone to the left. Hay with Hull and McDonald. Palat and Makita. And from the face-off, Nevin intercepted that pass and goes down the right wing. Makita trying to get back. He takes his shot, and Hull caught it and left it there for Makita. Makita passed it back in front of his own net, and Hull grabs it. Bobby Hull's on his way. At his own blue line is centered. Up over the Maple Leaf line. Trying to cut around the defense. He does. He shoots. Oh, and Powers stopped that. On Bobby Hull and right in. Beautiful play by Bobby Hull, but he just failed to score. Mahovlich down the right wing. Over the line. Takes a shot. He's going in, and Hull knocks it out to the side. It's cleared out to center ice. Keon back to Horton. Horton off the boards for Keon. Keon shoots the puck back into the Chicago zone, and Makita's back for it. Mahovlich tried to check him. Makita gets it out, races after it, and Brewer gets back for it. Brewer at his own blue line. A pass over here to Keon. Up over the Chicago line. Back to Brewer. Brewer's closing in. He took a shot. Gets it again. Duff took a whack at it. Evans, watched by Keon, chased off to the side. And he's held there for a face-off in the Chicago zone. We played 2 minutes and 25 seconds of the third period. Leafs 2, Chicago 1. Keon, Duff, and Armstrong with Vaughn and Brewer. And it's Nestorenko with Fleming and Warren. Now then Horvath out there. Nestorenko is going off the ice. Makita comes back out again. Fleming stays out, and Warren. Thought for a moment that Coach Rudy Pillis was going to juggle his line around, but he's changed his mind, and they're all back at the bench. All set to go from the face-off. It's Duff in the corner, being watched by Evans, jammed against the boards. Makita clears it the opposite side. Fleming gets it out to center ice. Keon goes back after it. Warren tried to check him, and it's cleared right to Stanley. He and Fleming bumped together. Fleming then stick handles by Armstrong, bumped into him, and it's Vaughn, a pass to Duff. Shoots the puck into the Chicago zone, goes after it. Evans beat him to it. Then Keon stole the puck to Armstrong. Armstrong couldn't get a shot. He's jammed by St. Laurent. The puck goes out to center. Brewer waits for his teammates to get onside. A pass is stopped by Makita. And then Brewer gets back to cover him. Brewer over to Vaughn. Vaughn out to Armstrong. It goes down the ice. It's going over the red line. Evans will touch it. He does, and it's called for icing. And we played 3 minutes and 11 seconds in the third period. Toronto Maple Leafs leading 2-1. That's icing against the Maple Leafs, and a face-off in the Maple Leaf zone to the right. Duff with Armstrong and Keon, Brewer and Vaughn, Makita, Warren, McDonald, St. Laurent, and Evans. Now then Mahavlich is coming out with Kelly and Stewart. Leafs making frequent changes now. Horton and Stanley. Horvath with Fleming and Nestorenko. All set for the face-off in the Maple Leaf zone to the right. Puck is dropped. It comes back to St. Laurent. St. Laurent takes his shot. It goes into the corner. Stanley flicks it to the blue line, and Mahavlich brings it out. Mahavlich to Kelly. Kelly over the line. He spun around, but comes up with it again. Passed it back. There's going to be a penalty here. All to Chicago. Fleming, number 6, is coming to the penalty box. Fleming of Chicago gets the gate, giving the Leafs the odd man advantage, playing 6 men to 5. They lead in the hockey game 2-1. Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1.
Chicago penalty, number 6, Fleming. 2 minutes for hooking.
A hooking penalty.
Time 3:26.
3:26, the time of the penalty for hooking. On the face-off, Kelly goes after it. He passes back to Stewart to let it go. Horton passed it back to him. Stewart then tried to relay it. Evans takes Kelly out. Stewart trying to pass it back to blue line. Turner bumped into him. They go against the board. Stewart kicked it to Kelly. Passed it right in front to Stanley. A shot. And that's right in front. Stewart to the left. And he ran into Evans. Puck goes against the boards, and they hold it there for a face-off. In the Chicago zone to the left. Evans may have been caught with a high stick. He's all right, though. He's now skating over to the Chicago bench, number 5, Evans. Toronto Maple Leafs 2, Chicago Blackhawks 1. Coming up to the 4-minute mark of the third period, 2-1 for the Maple Leafs. They have the odd man advantage. Kelly gets it back to Horton. Horton takes his shot right on. All stopped that, and it's cleared out and down the ice past Stanley. Bauer stopped it, even though it's off the net, and Stanley goes back for it, behind the goal. He gives it to Mahavlich. Mahavlich down the right wing at center ice. Up over the Chicago line. Stops. Takes his shot. And ball stops that. Vasco cleared it off the boards, but not out. Horton took a shot. That goes into the corner. Vasco comes up with it again. Finally gets it down the ice. And Stanley has to go back for it. Stanley behind the Maple Leaf goal. Now leads the attack. 4 of them up at his own blue line to center. Making headway on the left wing. Shoots the puck into the Chicago zone. Glenn Hall stopped it. Then he came out of his net. Here's the pass for Duff. And he started right across the goal mouth. And Armstrong tries to get it loose, and it's cleared by Chicago down the ice. Howard stopped it, and Stanley comes up with it. Fleming has 30 seconds left in his penalty. We passed the 5-minute mark now in the third period. A long shot. That was caught by Glenn Hall. Handed Armstrong. Armstrong took his shot. Glenn Hall caught it and held onto it for a face-off. And the face-off is in the Chicago zone to the left. That brings Vaughn and Brewer out into the fence. Armstrong with Keon and Duff. Bobby Hull with Vasco, Zalat, Nestorenko. From the draw, it comes back to Bobby Vaughn. He takes his shot. Hall caught that and held onto it. And there's another face-off in the same spot. 14 seconds left in Fleming's penalty. On the face-off, the puck goes near the Chicago goal. Behind it for Palat. Palat cleared it to Nestorenko. Nestorenko starts to come out. His pass was stopped by Keon. Back to Brewer. Brewer, number 2. A pass for Keon behind him. Vasco intercepts, shoots it down the ice. It's going over the red line. Bauer stopped it. And Brewer comes up with it. It would have been called icing had Bauer not touched it. Then Brewer shoots the puck down the ice into the Chicago zone. That's stopped by Glenn Hall, even though it came from the side. Palat passes it ahead to Makita. Makita with Nestorenko on his right, Hall on his left. Over the line to Nestorenko. Back to Bobby Hull, and that's sailed it quick. And Duff goes back with Armstrong. Over the line, Duff takes his shot, stopped by Vasco. Hands it right to Duff. Duff moving in with a pass to Armstrong. Over the line goes, he scores! Armstrong makes it 3-1. George Armstrong, number 10, the captain of the Maple Leafs, scoring the third goal for the Leafs. They now lead 3-1.
Leafs goal scored by number 10, Armstrong. Assist, number 9, Duff. Time, 6:03.
6:03 was the time of Armstrong's goal from Duff. Bobby Hull takes a long shot. Bauer stops that. Clears it to Litzenberger. Litzenberger off the boards for Pulford. It slides down the ice. And it's Saint Laurent back for it, number 19. He's behind the Chicago net. Gets right in front of his own goal. Leaves it for Nevin to Litzenberger. And Litzenberger should have whacked at it and failed to put it in the net. Litzenberger gets another try. Litzenberger falls down. Nevin pokes at it. Hull had him covered. Hay as well. Saint Laurent cleared into the corner, the opposite side. Balfour passes to Evans. Evans, a pass over to Hull. Hull gets it out to Balfour on the right wing, up to the Leaf line. He's stopped by Litzenberger, who shoots it down the ice. Going back forward is Evans, number 5. Evans passes it behind the net for Hull. Pulford had him covered. Pulford gets the puck with Nevin to Litzenberger to Nevin. Nevin trying to get set. And Hay takes it away from him, number 11. A pass out to Hull, who ran into Stanley. Balfour tries to get through. Pulford had him covered, but Hull carries on in his pass, intercepted by Litzenberger. Litzenberger, a pass to Horton. Up over the Chicago line. Knocked it into the corner. Pass to right in front of the net. And it's Hay ahead to Hull. One man back. Going down with Balfour. And gets the puck away from him. And it was shot over the glass by Horton. 12 minutes and 18 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 3. Chicago Blackhawks 1. From the face-off, Stewart stole the puck for the Leafs. Gets it out over the blue line, a long pass to Kelly. Kelly tried to relay it. It's at the Chicago line. Kelly back to Stewart. Kelly's knocked down. Stewart Stick handle over the line, lost it. Mahavlich turns at center and shoots it high over the glass. Face-off will be on the Chicago side of the checkered line at center ice. 11 minutes and 58 seconds remaining in regulation time. 3-1 for the Toronto Maple Leafs over the Chicago Blackhawks. On the face-off, it's Kelly to Mahavlich. Over towards Bond. Fleming could fit to go in, and it's Kelly turning at center ice. He's bumped by Palat. Mahavlich taking it down the left side, trying to cut in. Trying to pass it in front for Stewart. It does go in front, but Palat covers up for Chicago. Handed it to Stewart, to Mahavlich. Back to Kelly. Kelly shoots, and Glenn Hall caught that and held it for a face-off. Face-off is in the Chicago zone to the left. It's Keon with Cup and Armstrong, Stanley and Horton. McDonald, Warham, Makita, Stanley and Evans. Up for Kenny Warham. He failed to get over the line as Keon breaks it up. A pass for Duff. Missed a check. Keon shoots it the rest of the way. It hit the linesman. Gets it again. Back to Duff. Duff fakes a shot. Lets it go. Duff failed to deflect it. Back for Chicago. Stanley on the left wing. A pass to the blue line. It rolls into the Maple Leaf zone. Warham, a pass in front of the net, and Horton breaks it up. Horton shoots it off the boards out to center ice. Stanley back to McDonald. McDonald watched by Armstrong. Jammed in on the boards. Keon tried to steal it. Makita took it away from him. Makita up to the Maple Leaf line. Tried to go through, and he's knocked down. Keon cleared it to the blue line and out. Evans shoots it back offside as McDonald was inside the blue line. 10 minutes and 44 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 3, Chicago Blackhawks 1. It's 1-0 Chicago into the first period, 2-1 for the Leafs into the second, and the Leafs have added one in this third period to give them a 3-1 lead. Stanley gets it up for Keon, number 14, who flicks it back to the Chicago defense. Evans off the boards for Makita and St. Laurent. Keon covered him. Puck goes to Horton. Horton back to Stanley. Stanley back to Horton. Up the center. Takes his shot into the Chicago zone. Glenn Hall stops it there. Warham back for it. He's watched. Then it's Armstrong passing it right in front. Keon just failed to deflect it. Keon shot it back into the corner. Armstrong keeps it in. Pass to Duff. He's right in front of the net. A shot. Right in front of Keon. Another shot by Hall. Armstrong sent it to Duff. Duff takes a whack at it, and Makita comes up with it for Chicago. Up the center. Up over the Leaf line. Breaking it on goal. Right in on goal. And he's stopped by Bauer. Duff, a pass for Armstrong, failed to click. Horton moves up the center as Makita came within an ace of putting the Blackhawks right back in there. 9 minutes and 35 seconds left in regulation time. Up for Bobby Hull. Up to the Leaf line. Over. Into the corner. Horton skated him off. Litzenberger, a flip pass for Nevin. Nevin off the boards. He canned one out to Pulford. Pulford, number 20. Stick handling at center. Finally shoots it into the Chicago zone. Going back forward is Vasco. Vasco gets it ahead to Bobby Hull. Hull hit Hay with it. Goes back to Vasco. Vasco to Bobby Hull. Over here to Palat. Palat up to center ice. Hay on his right. Balfour on his left. Over the line. Into the corner. Brewer skates him off. Kicks the puck to Nevin. Nevin tried to get it out, and Hull tipped it over the glass into the box seats. 8 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 3, Chicago Blackhawks 1. First game of the Stanley Cup Finals. All set to go for the face-off. It comes back to Palat. Over the blue line. Stopped by Brewer. Brewer breaks away with Pulford. Couldn't get at any further than center. And it's Bobby Hull now getting his break for Chicago. A long shot wide. Rebound came all the way up to Litzenberger. Litzenberger to Nevin. Back to Litzenberger. Back for Bond. Bond moves up on the right wing, gets over the red line and shoots it into the Chicago zone. Going back for it is Vasco. Vasco to Palat. Palat clears it out for Bobby Hull. He's stopped by Bond. And a pass to Hay. Stopped by Nevin on a pass to Vasco. Nevin trying to cut around the defense. Passed it near the goal. Fulford rolled it, and Hay gets it for Chicago. Over on the wing to Bobby Hull. Ahead to Palat. Up with Balfour. Over the line. Palat waits. Takes his shot. Brewer knocked it down, and Fulford gets the rebound. He's jammed against the boards. And it goes to Hay. He cleared it back. Palat couldn't get back into position. Goes back to center ice. Over to Vasco. Vasco shoots the puck in. Here's Balfour getting a chance, rolling it out in front. And Bond clears it over on the right wing to Stewart. Stewart up with Fulford, who takes the pass on a skate. Tried to cut through. And he was covered by Hay, jammed in on the board. Hull gets away from Mahavlich. Fulford gets up slowly. Up to center ice for Hay to Balfour. He tries to go over the line, and it's Mahavlich turning for the Leafs. Mahavlich down the left wing. Gets over the line. Goes after the puck. Balfour's jammed in on the board. Mahavlich sending it out in front with Stewart, and the Blackhawks break it up, clearing it to center ice. And they're going from end to end. Now then Mahavlich shoots it in. Goes to Stanley from Glenn Hall. Into the corner for Dollar Stanley. Out to Nestorenko. With Horvath. Over on the wing to Stanley. They're going in on goal, and the puck is shot into the corner. The Leafs clear it to the blue line, out to center ice again. 6 minutes and 35 seconds. Remaining in regulation time as Kelly gets a break for the Leafs. Goes over the line. He's dumped by Stanley. Back up the ice for Evans. Up the center. Up to the Leaf line. It goes through the defense, and Armstrong came from nowhere to pick it up. Armstrong tried to pass, and it failed to click. Horvath is watched, but still has it. Nestorenko went inside the blue line. Then Stanley moved up, and he's checked. Horton comes back for the Leafs to center. Takes a long shot. Glenn Hall caught that. 6 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 3, Chicago 1. Nestorenko over on the left wing is checked by Armstrong. And Horvath gets it, number 9. He missed Keon with a check. And Nestorenko gets it back to Stanley. Stanley back to Nestorenko, stopped by Duff. Horvath gets it back to Evans. Evans over to Fleming. Fleming tried to deflect it in, and Armstrong's got it again. He passed it over to Keon. Going in with Duff. Keon stops. Back to Horton. Horton takes his shot. Goal! Horton makes it 4-1. Horton from Keon. And it's now 4-1. That was a long shot just inside the left goal post. And the Leafs are now leading 4-1. On the face-off, it's back to Warren. He lost it to Keon, who was dumped. It's Vasco now of Chicago at his own blue line. A pass to Warren at center, over the line, stopped by Bond. McDonald, a pass over on the left side to Makita. Makita gets over the line.
Horton. Assists, number 10, Armstrong, and number 14, Keon. Time, 14:32.
14:32, the official time, as the Leafs clear the puck down the ice. It's going over the red line. Vasco back to touch it. He does. And there's 4 minutes and 51 seconds remaining in the third period and regulation time. This game is coming to you direct from Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
Tim Horton along with George Armstrong have scored in the third period. The Leafs have a comfortable 4-1 lead here in Game 1, midway through the third period. George Armstrong has got a goal and 2 assists on the night, and he is your longtime roommate, your longtime nemesis, your longtime protagonist as far as practical jokes and everything else. But here's a guy that is the consummate professional, a great captain, and as you said, couldn't break a paper bag with a shot.
He was pretty lucky. That's right. He could. He had the weakest shot, I think, of the whole team there. But he's, you know, even George was my roomie. As I don't know whether everyone knows, but they know now. He was my roomie for a long, long time, and we got to know each other really well. And there's a funny few stories about him there. I remember once checking in New York, and I had the TV on because I couldn't go to sleep for a while. And wouldn't you know it, there'd be Indians in the
Cowboy and Indian.
Cowboy and Indian movie. What do you do? You know, when the Indians are winning, TV's great. And I'm watching, I'm thinking to myself, you watch, the white men will get back to them pretty soon. As soon as the Reds coach started, he'd go up and shut the TV off. Can you imagine that? He wouldn't let me turn it back
George
on
being
again.
a native Indian from Skeet, Ontario, but he did a lot of practical joking on you. I know he painted your wife's car up in Peterborough for you, and he also terrorized you personally too.
Yeah, he pulled another one in the dressing room too, Joe. There, you know, when you have a partial plate net, you can't play with it in case something ever get hurt. You know, you might swallow it and choke or something. But they always had a little cup in the room there, and you put your false teeth in there, and looked like I'm about 90 years old. But anyway, we put it on there for safety precautions. And we had a practice that day, and usually I wasn't too sharp, and I wanted the guys to stay out, and everybody went in right after the practice was over, except just about everybody, except one guy, and that's Larry Hillman. And I couldn't, there's something fishy going on. I didn't quite understand. But anyway, I had a few shots, 5 minutes, and I went in the dressing room, and first thing you know, you reach up, grab your teeth. So I grabbed a hold of them, and I put them in my mouth, and I looked at them, and they're not my teeth. So I said, I blamed that he shot first. I thought it was Shacky that was fooling around in the dressing room. We had a lot of harmony in our team, in our dressing room. So, and then Shaq says, it was your roomie, George Armstrong, that did that. So I went to the chief after, and I said to George, I said, where'd you get these teeth from? He says, you know, he says, I live in Bayview there, and there's I got a buddy that works in a funeral home. And I said, oh, come on. No, you didn't. But, oh, they taste awful anyway. I know that, Joe.
Did you get the real ones back?
Yeah, I finally got them back.
Good.
Oh, yeah,
thank goodness. He's a special guy, and I know that you have a real deep and long-lasting friendship.
Yes, we have, and we still have, although the last year he's been scouting and all that. He's still waiting for that quarter for me to give him so he can phone me. And I told him, you phone me first before I give him a quarter.
All right, we'll pass that along when we see him here in another couple of days. But at this particular point, the chief and his roommate are having their way with the Chicago Blackhawks. George Armstrong has a goal and 2 assists. John Bauer's allowed just 1 as the Leafs lead 4-1. Let's go back upstairs to Bill Hewitt.
The official time of that last goal was 14:32, 14:32, Horton from Keon and Armstrong. And it's 4-1 for the Maple Leafs. Harris is out on the ice for the first time in the game, number 15 for the Maple Leafs, with Litzenberger and Nevin. It's Hay with Hull, and number 20 is Kurelak out there for the first time in the game for Chicago. Number 20, Kurelak. There's a shot that's stopped. It's brought up by Nevin to his own blue line to center ice for the Leafs. Up over the Chicago line, still has it, takes his shot. Hall stopped that, and Vasco comes up with it. Vasco to Kurelak, who cleared it out over the blue line. Harris shoots it right back in again. Vasco back for it for Chicago. Clearing pass to Hay. Back to Vasco. Vasco gets away from Nevin and passes it to Hay. Hay coming up to his own blue line. Up to center ice. Goes over the line with Kurelak, and his pass stopped by Stanley. Stanley to Harris. Up to the Chicago line. Into the corner. Harris tried to pass, and he did! And Litzenberger missed it. Stanley took a shot. Ends up behind the net again. Harris tried to center. Litzenberger is knocked into the boards with Bobby Hull. Litzenberger gets it loose. Harris is jammed into the boards. He flipped it out in front anyway. And Palat comes up with it. Palat to his own blue line to Bobby Hull at center ice. Up over the Maple Leaf line. There's the shot. Bauer caught it. And he holds it for a face-off in the Maple Leaf zone. 3 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in regulation time. The Maple Leafs 4, Chicago 1. It was 1-0 Chicago into the first period, 2-1 for Leafs into the second, and the Leafs have added 2 more in this third period to take a 4-1 lead. And this is the first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Bond taking some tape off his stick, giving it to referee Eddie Powers. Face off in the Maple Leaf zone. Alan Brewer has a word with Kelly. Horvath is set for the face-off. The puck is dropped. He gets it to Kelly. Kelly flicks it out. Handed for Stewart, but St. Laurent broke it up, passed it off the boards. Bond of the Leafs at center. Cleared it to Stewart, who was jammed in on the boards. The puck goes back into the Chicago zone, and it's Evans back there for it. Evans, a long pass for Nestorenko up at center. Up over the Leaf line, a back pass to Horvath, a shot. That was wide. Bauer missed it. St. Laurent take the shot, and it came in front, and Brewer cleared it out to the side. Fleming now gets a chance for Chicago right in front, and Horvath shot it wide. It's back to Evans, a shot. Horvath knocked it down with his glove. Fleming gets it loose, trying to center it. Mahavlich has him covered. Horvath passes to Nestorenko. Nestorenko goes behind the Leaf goal. Brewer grabs at him. Stewart then comes up with the puck, cleared it behind the Leaf goal. Bond then trapped to the other side. Horvath gets it back to Fleming. Fleming passed it in front. Bauer lets it go behind the net again, and Brewer comes up with it. And Bond was holding Fleming, and Bond of the Leafs is going to get a penalty. Bond of the Leafs was holding Fleming, and he'll get the gate. Face-off is in the Maple Leaf zone, and Keon is out there with Duff, Horton, and Stanley.
Base penalty, number 12, Bond. 2 minutes for holding. Time 17:22.
Bond of the Leafs, number 21, is in the penalty box for holding at 17:22. It's Makita, McDonald, Hay, Palat, and Bobby Hull. Keon with Duff, Horton, and Stanley. A false start with Duff jumping into the circle in a hurry. All set to go. The puck is dropped, and Stanley's back for it. Stanley flicks it off the boards for Duff. Duff races down the ice with one man back. Duff takes a long shot wide. Ends up behind the goal into the corner. Oh. Missed Duff, but got the pass to Makita. Makita to Bobby Hull on the left wing to center. Up over the Leaf line, stopped by Horton. Makita follows up. Passed it in front of the net to McDonald, a shot, and Bauer stopped that. Hay kept it in with Makita, cleared the other side. Keon then flicks it out and down the ice. 2 minutes left in regulation time. Toronto Maple Leafs 4, Chicago Blackhawks 1. Up the ice for Billy Hay to center ice. Over to Makita, to Bobby Hull over the line. Hull, a flip pass, and hit that. And he just failed to get a breakaway. As Bobby Hull got back to cover up. 1 minute and 40 seconds. A pass to McDonald. McDonald over to Palat. Palat back to McDonald. Up at center ice. Stanley took a whack at it. Makita passes to the open wing. Palat overskated it the first time. Finally shoots into the Leaf zone. Bauer stops it. Stanley then finds an opening and shoots it right down the ice. Glenn Hall stopped that one. 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in regulation time as Stan Makita up to his own blue line, up to center ice, up over the line. He was stopped there, and Armstrong gets it out to center ice. Palat over to McDonald, stopped by Armstrong. Less than a minute to go in this period. Armstrong finds an opening, shoots it down the ice. Bond has 15 seconds left in his penalty. 48 seconds remaining in regulation time. Makita was stopped. Bobby Hull behind the net. Starts out. Up to his own blue line. Here he goes to center. Fakes the slap shot this time. Goes into the corner. Horton skated him off. Armstrong, a pass to the blue line. Evans is hit by Bond. Armstrong failed to get it out. Bond shoots it out to center ice. It goes back into the Chicago zone. And Makita's back. Evans is back for it. As Evans comes up to center, a long shot. Bauer stops that. 15 seconds left. Shack is out on the ice. Shack finds an opening and shoots it down the ice. It's rolling to the red line, but it won't roll over. St. Laurent gets it. 2 seconds. One. The bell goes. 2 goals in the third period, coming through over the Chicago Blackhawks in this first game of the Stanley Cup Finals. Ladies and gentlemen, here are the 3 stars selected tonight by Gordie Howe. The first star is Dick Duff of the Toronto Maple Leafs. The second star, Dave Keon, Toronto Maple Leafs. The third star, Bobby Hull, Chicago Blackhawks.
On behalf of Imperial Metro Agents dealers throughout Canada, Imperial Oil Company presents tonight's Olympic match of summer. The final score, Leafs 4, Chicago 1. The goal.
Ward Cornell here with Gordie Howe, and Gordie, your reasons for the stars.
Well, my reason, Ward, is simple that I thought Duff, in achieving the first star tonight, played a very strong game, and he showed a lot of aggressiveness right at the start of the game. I think that influenced his 2 linesmen, Armstrong and Keon, and he also was, as I noticed while sitting out there, every play that come back into his end, he's back in there digging and back checking, so naturally you'd have to give a man who played a strong game first star. The other boy, Keon, who is always a good hockey player, all the time we played against Keon, he's played a good game. I understand he had a rough time against New York. I think he's shaken that. He got the initial goal, which is definitely a big goal. He also set up a couple others and played very strongly. And then Bobby Hull, who I have a lot of admiration for. He's a big, strong boy. And wherever Chicago was dangerous, it was when Hull was on the ice. And he, I'd say, would be the only Chicago boy actually did carry the potentials, because he was carrying that puck all night. And I don't know how he does it, actually. He's strong, I know, but only one man can do so much, and he seems to be doing just that.
Any honorable mentions, Gord?
Well, both goaltenders, I thought, played very strongly. Bauer, my good friend and fishing mate, and also Glenn Hall, my Saskatchewan buddy, they played very strong. And actually, I think Bauer helped in the first period. When Chicago had a better to play, he helped keep the boys in it. And they always say, as a goaltender makes a big save, it lifts the rest of the club. And when he come up with that big save against Bobby Hull, when he made the rush come across front net, I was telling Emo Francis that might be the lift they needed, and it just as it proved out to be, I might have been a prophet on that, because I was right.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much, Gordie Howe, and you'll be back with us on Thursday night. Now up top to Foster Hewitt.
That was a very convincing win by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first game of the series, which may be called the Black and Blue series before it's over. They certainly hit each other with everything but the kitchen sink in that game, particularly in the first period. And I believe it was that fight in the first period that seemed to get the Leafs in the right frame of mind. And they were both trying to convince each other who was boss. I don't know who won that argument, but certainly on the basis of the play, the Leafs never looked back after that first fight around the 12-minute mark in the first period. They played their positions perfectly. They scored 2 goals in the second period and 2 in the last period. They had to come back from a 1-goal deficit, which the Hawks scored in the first period, and it takes a good hockey team to do that, particularly against the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, the shots on goal, Toronto Maple Leafs outshot the Chicago Blackhawks 37-26. Once again, the final score in tonight's game, Toronto Maple Leafs 4, Chicago Blackhawks 1.
The Leafs win Game 1 by a score of 4-1. April 10th, 1962, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. This is Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV. The Leafs win Game 1. John Bauer gets injured in Game 4. Dippy Simmons, his nickname, Don Simmons, came on and played very well. I can recall an 11-year-old boy in Sudbury sitting in front of a black and white television set crying big crocodile tears when you left that game. I thought that's it. The Stanley Cup's gone, and Don Simmons played exceptionally well. Now, when the Cup was won in Game 6, Where were you? Did you get onto the ice for the celebration? Where were you?
I was in the dressing room. That's right. I was in the dressing room waiting just in case something else happened to Danny Simmons, because we didn't have any other goaltender at that time. So they were going to give me a needle. If the worst comes to worst, they give you a needle and freeze it. Then you just put your equipment on. Because I think we were allowed 15 minutes or something like that to dress a goaltender. So I was just ready prepared. But he came up big. He came up really big.
John, you win 4 Stanley Cups. The other 3, you're on the ice for. You're there. You're playing in the games and stuff like this. Was this a bittersweet kind of a pill to swallow? You had to be ecstatic that you won. But I'm not out there. I'm not out there. That had to. Did that hurt a little bit?
It hurt. Yeah, sure, it hurt. Yeah, because you wanted to be in there, you know, with all the celebrations and everything else. But it just feels sometimes like you didn't do your part or something like that, Joe. You know, but you're still there and you want to win so bad. And I'm always pulling for your goaltender, for Donnie Simmons, because every shot he took, Joe, I'll tell you, my leg was okay in the dressing room. I didn't even feel my soreness. Yeah.
Now, when you won the cup, how much money did you win in those days as far as a bonus was concerned? Do you recall?
I can't recall, but I can cash by checking the shoe shine stand, Joe, so I really don't know how much
because we've had, I can remember people telling us that if you won the Calder Cup, you may have won $3,000–4,000. If you won the Stanley Cup, you might have won $5,000 or $6,000. It wasn't a real big difference.
No, it was in that category. Like, yeah, the government took half of it anyway.
Well,
so what are you
as
going to do?
They always
but
find
it was
a way
nice.
to do.
It's nice to win. That's the key thing. Like, you know.
And it's nice to have you here, as always.
Thank you.
And what's John Bauer up to these days besides terrorizing Nancy?
Well, right now he's in Calgary to see his father, and he's up there, and he's still with the University of Windsor, and he's doing real well, and he's still feels that he wants to be a broadcaster, hockey broadcaster like yourself. I thank you very much
Johnny
for helping
the
out
Third.
much you can.
Oh, absolutely. And what are
you?
you doing? What are you up to?
I am trying to keep in shape. I'm doing a lot of charity work, and I got a game this afternoon to go to, and for a little guy that's 10 years old. And I asked him, when I talked to him, I says, "Who's your favorite goaltender?" And he looked at me and he says, "I like Joseph." I says, "You like Curtis Joseph?" I said, "What about Johnny Bauer?" He says, "You're number 2, he says.
And that's well,
So
see, I've got you reversed. I've got you number 1. I'll
All
put
right.
Curtis and the rest of them back at number 2. The greatest goaltender in Leaf history has been our guest, and we've taken him back to April 10th, 1962, as the Leafs win Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final with the Blackhawks by a 4-1 count. We hope you've enjoyed it. This has been Molson Canadian Sunday Night Classics on Leafs TV.